showing off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent. And it's only I'm gonna take shots if I miss.
Hello and welcome to the Smite Draft League. In week 1, both of these teams felt like they had tainted sets, so they have something to prove today. I'm Anthony, and I've got KingFsher with me. Let's get into it.
Yeah, it should be a really exciting one. Like you said, it's Afterparty taking on Dark Omen. So two pretty solid teams, and I'm really excited to see what they bring out here today. And yeah, do you think we're going to see anything too out of the ordinary from where trends have been going in the last few games?
It's so hard to tell with these premier games because sometimes you get a classic comp. I mean, it could be a week 1 of Smite open beta comp, but then other times we get Sylvanas ADCs or we get Ganesh jungles, and there's just no real way to predict how anything is going to go. So I think what I'm interested to see is, will these teams go that traditional route, the crazy route? But if they do that, how effective will they be? Because at a certain point, are you doing it for fun? Are you doing it for strategy? And you got to figure out what is most valuable to you.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we've had a lot of talks over time about like how comfortable comps are versus how like meta they are and good at the moment. Speaking of meta and good at the moment, there is a Thor ban. Thor saw a recent buff, and I think especially in casual games I've been playing, he feels really, really strong right now.
Yeah, and Thor has been a character that in certain circumstances, even at his worst state in terms of performance, you could still utilize him to make impact in the game. So now that he's strong and he had the buffs, the slight change to the wall, by slight change to the wall, I mean you can die to the wall. I think it puts him in such a good spot. You almost have to take him out of fear of him controlling the pace of the game.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Thor, even before all the buffs rather, was incredibly scary. Such good mobile rotation in that ultimate, and a ton of damage to follow it down. But speaking of damage off of ultimates, it's gonna be a dodgy lock-in. I think we've seen this once or twice before, top picked, and do you think dodgy
Yeah.
is worth that top selection? Or is there another jungler, or even another role that you want to go to in that top pick?
It's not so much for me that I want to see Daji go in a different role or different pick. It's that Daji has not been as incredibly effective and impactful as I think these teams are prioritizing her at. I'm not sure if that's been chalked up to individual performance or the way that the season is going just overall, but the last few times I've seen Daji, I could have stood to see a little bit more from her.
Yeah, definitely, and I think Daji's such an execution-heavy god that there's always more they can be doing, always more like we expect them to do, but it's an incredibly hard pick to play, so I think whoever that ends up going to, I believe Daji jungle, unless we see some crazy stuff like we've been seeing out of Premier. Who knows, maybe it's a Daji mid, I don't even know anymore. But a Vulcan to follow it up, and it's another really strong pick we've been seeing lately.
Yeah, Vulcan has been dangerous all around, and I love Vulcan into Daji because even if your Daji is not performing, Vulcan can play off Daji so well. I mean, as can the Camazotz, but the Vulcan in particular. It's because it's not even just if the Daji can get a pull in on the ultimate. The type of positioning that the Daji ultimate creates gives the Vulcan so many opportunities to do damage, be it meatball, backfire, or the ultimate.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of setup going over towards that Life of the Afterparty team, but on the other side, we see an incredibly strong top 3. Not really strong pick-wise, but I mean, those are going to be 3 incredibly hard gods to kill. Achilles and Ymir is an insanely scary front line. I think 2 of the front runners, when you really think about, like, kind of, not necessarily best in the roles, but always really good, aggressive picks. We don't see him pick this high that often, but that's certainly a formidable looking top 3.
It is, and the Ymir has been a character that has surprised me so far in the first 2 weeks of SDL. Ymir has been so effective, and even in games where Ymir finds himself on the losing team, the walls, the ultimate, the freeze, the tankiness. He's just kind of been a great performer overall. I think the pick went undervalued for a long time, and I'm excited to see him up front and center.
Yeah, definitely exciting. And now they're gonna maybe follow up with the Discordia. Discordia, I think, really benefits from comps that have a lot of setup. I mean, her stuff kind of takes a long time to get where you aim it.
Mhm.
So, do you think there's an element of kind of just mechanical execution on Discordia, or do you think it's more about how your team sets you up and lets you kind of go for success?
I think Dark Omen's comp kind of falls under the let's stay back and control the team fights and control the pacing, because our damage is dangerous up close but very dangerous far away. You've got the Chiron auto lock, you've got his I can't think of the name, but his circle ability causing so much spacing alongside the passive with the cleanse. You've got Discordia making everybody avoid her, but then you have the Achilles who can be up front and dragging all the attention onto him and letting that Chiron and that Discordia free cast. So really dangerous comp from them so far.
Yeah, and it's certainly a versatile one, like you said. And I think also, like you said, the kind of comp that plays back, plays defensive, that's going to do incredibly well into this Life of the Afterparty team, because that is going to be a Camazotz solo lane, it looks like, and they do not have the most health bars in the world over there on the Order side team. They're going to have to be careful with their aggression.
And with that, we'll be right back because we're going to meet you in the game.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Life of the Afterparty, Dark Omen. They come into this game with chips on their shoulders, and the chips are all on the table. I'm Anthony. He's KingFsher. Let's do it.
Yeah, and I think like you're talking about, big chip on the shoulder from both teams, not the greatest showing in week one. I think some of that, some responsibility always goes on to the captains, whether they deserve it or not. Looking at these captains, both playing in the jungle, I'm assuming those are the shot colors as well. Do you like having your jungler as your shot color, or do you like the more traditional mid or support? What are some of the differences that those can bring?
For my personal experiences, I've always preferred jungle and support kind of splitting the duties of shot calling depending on portions of the game, situations, and even their experience and where it falls. But it's always nice to have somebody who isn't afraid to take that mantle of I'm going to take the control, follow me, because even if they're wrong, you know exactly what you're doing and nobody has to wonder what the plans are.
Yeah, it definitely can be a balancing act. And I think, like you said, with splitting the duties, both of these supports have really clear, cool, and calm comms. I think Henergy, always a very calm guy, never gets too heated. Same with Lone Wolf, so I'd be interested to see how much of an impact those can have in games. So now, again, on the solo lane, I think we've been saying it's become a trend lately, I think, and now it's just become meta. These junglers heading to solo lane first instead of mid lane. It's going to allow Scizzy and Sehost to get a lot more farm early, but it can kind of set your solo laner behind as we see Camazotz a little late to take over to level 2.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I'm curious as to what your opinion is. Do you like that decision? each time, or do you think that time would be better spent if maybe instead of trying to force that gank to happen in solo early on, you turn your attention elsewhere and maybe put some pressure on mid and maybe make it more of a case-by-case basis, or do you just like the pressure out early on? Ooh, we do see Power getting away with barely any health, but I think we're okay to hear your take on that topic.
Yeah, speaking of pressure out, Power gets a little push there. But, I mean, I might be biased because I am a mid main, but I do really like to see it when junglers go to mid, as a Lone Wolf almost fall into the grave, but not quite. As I was saying though, I always do like when junglers go to mid because I feel like solo laners already at level 1 are incredibly hard to kill because of their abilities. They have a lot of health pots, a lot of chalices, and I think all the boxing over there really doesn't find much value. I think same thing with Totemaku. Getting it in the first 20 seconds is not nearly as good as after the first couple waves, but I think that might just be my take, as now a lot of brawling in solo. Camazotz has to back up though. Achilles still has that early game pressure.
Yeah, I think you said it best there, and I think as the season goes on, and Sehost did a bit of a misstep, but he figured it out. Good for you, Sehost. I think we'll see those things get changed. I think we'll see teams maybe, especially in competitive settings, not so much in their ranked or their casual games, we'll see potentially a unique to SDL meta breakout of how these teams operate around each other, which you can see at LAN tournaments and even in SPL, of just they know what to expect from each other, so they try to work around it. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if we start seeing craziness from maybe the supports doing weird things or the mids doing weird things, just something unique to us based off of what they're used to.
Yeah, and I think we've already seen that a lot in God Picks. There are a couple teams that really like to branch out. I'm kind of excited to see teams start adapting to it in their play styles. I think normally in best of 3 sets, you kind of do that organically, but the more time goes on, I think the more prepared we're going to see these teams, the more footage to watch, and the things like that. I was going to make one more point. Oh yeah, the Hand of the Gods from supports, speaking about trends, has started being saved until the second time they do that purple camp. I figured that I was yelled at in casual recently because I'm not smart enough. But I think it's done a really good job kind of dispelling aggression, because we've seen a ton of buff invades in only these first 2 weeks. So I really like that small change that supports are making to ensure that their ADCs can stay topped up.
Yeah, I think those invades can be so impactful in putting the ADCs behind that I do like that decision. We do see Midman poking around in the dual lane, and there's no wardage, and there's nobody there to stop him. He gets the dash in, and all of a sudden, Henergy and Chiron find themselves very low, and oh, for sure, the first blood goes the way of life of the Afterparty as Chiron and his Canadian skin fall. Henergy will not be long behind as Midman gets the kill onto him.
Yeah, unfortunate timing there for Dark Omen. They did have one ward on that right side, but unfortunately Daji did cut through that Gold Fury pit, so couldn't spot her out, in a little bit of mispositioning there. That's going to lead to Life of the Afterparty taking over to level 5 first. Normally, as Didacted gets pressured out, but keeps his buff.
Big save keeping his buff there as he gets away with his life, so keeping the buff is a big victory. He does want it, though. Taka's hanging around and kind of expecting that move, and Power isn't far behind. And here comes the fight for. He missed a huge ability, gets stuck on the wall, and leaves himself open for the execute. Taka gets the kill.
Yeah, unfortunate for Didacted did use his bat out of hell earlier in the fight, so no real good escape tool as Achilles manages to get that one. I think, like I said earlier, that duo lane taking over to level 5 first. Normally, I don't think it's too big of an impact, but when we look at this duo lane from Life of the Afterparty, obviously the X-Ball's blinding ability and Athena's global teleport, they are so useful and impactful all over the map that I think Dark Omen needs to try to control this duo lane as much as possible, because they have a lot easier time impacting the rest of the map. We've seen what things can do when hunters go on checks, when supports get an early lead. It'll be especially dangerous with these two.
Yeah, and I have famously not been a fan of the X-Ball, but as much as I don't personally like the character and how it plays, if you let an X-Ball get too far ahead of you, you are in for a bad time. The darkest of nights will definitely be the case if you let that happen.
Yeah, and I think some things people underestimate too. I know I did for a long time, just how impactful those X-Ball ultimates can be if they're used at the right time. You can't see ganks, you can't see when people are grouping up, and it can really put you in a bad situation. So I think the communication from Life of the Afterparty has to be great to use it as Didacted, taking a ton of
He
hope.
had to back up quick, but over in the mid lane, Scuzzy's got to do much of the same, but the dodgy ultimates are no good. Midman's whiffing quite a bit, but you can't miss that ability. He gets the kill onto Power, and the Vulcan ultimate goes a little bit short of Scuzzy, a little bit too far for Henergy, so they'll be able to survive. But Midman dives under tower, and Ymir was just kind of vibing. Shell comes out, bit of a waste. Midman gets the kill. Athena used her ultimate, though, for some mitigations from Midman, so potentially a waste there.
Yeah, not really necessary, but I think, like we always say, better safe than sorry. And that was really good discipline from Scuzzy, hanging on to those beads. I think normally a lot of people just kind of panic beads when they see that dodgy ultimate, not new ult. So yeah, really good discipline by that mid laner. And credit to Midman, missed all of the shots on the Palo, but did get the cleanup kill. 2 kills and 2 assists for the jungler, and 100% kill participation. That is exactly what you want out of that role.
Yeah, I think the composure to manage to get the kill after missing the ult is huge. It's very easy to miss an ability like that and then continue missing because you get flustered. So big of Midman to stick with it despite the misses, but I understand the Athena ultimate for the mitigation. And while I wasn't big on it, the wall blocks off Lone Wolf. Always frustrating. I think going forward, knowing that Lone Wolf is not afraid to use that ultimate for the mitigations is huge, as over in the solo lane, Didacted gets ganked by Taka and Power, and he's gonna fall. Ooh, rough start for the Camazotz, but in return, Midman's here. He's gonna pre-beads, pop up an ultimate. Don't whiff again, Midman. 1 hit, he gets the hit. And Lone Wolf's here, gets the pull in. Taka's gonna fall to Midman, but Henergy and Scuzzy are here, and they're turning the damage around. The bank with the apple is good, and Midman falls. Only Lone Wolf remains solo in the solo lane. He's gonna be able to get away, but a fantastic rotation and an even better ultimate by Scuzzy.
Yeah, that was a really good bounce by the Discordian. Not sure she intended it to go that way, but it does eventually find its way onto Midman, who dies after 3 kills, 2 assists. And I'm not sure why Didacted was pushed that far up without wards, maybe counting on his jungler to get there a little bit faster than Midman did. But result is still the same. The second death for the Camazotz. I think credit to Kama, though. Only 1 level behind this Achilles, who's been farming really well and out-pressuring him in the lane. So good job by Life of the Afterparty, making sure their solo laner keeps kept up.
Absolutely, and I agree. Just to finish my point on the Athena, before I was so rudely interrupted by the ganks, is just that if Lone Wolf is not afraid to use that ultimate for the mitigations, keep your eye on that going forward, because that'll be major. Oh no. Oh no! The whiffs! Oh, that hurts, Vent. I'm so sorry you could not get the solo kill. Better luck next time, eh? That was tough.
Yeah, it's been a couple missed skill shots from both teams, but I don't think Vent will feel too bad about that one. Is going to force that X-Ball back to base, so that's going to be a free wave. Unfortunately, though, a lot of that jungle is cleared out, and purple buff isn't coming up in time for an invade. I think all across the map, though, we're seeing a relatively even game. I think a lot of the ones we've seen lately have started spiraling out of control as early as literally 3 minutes in. So the fact these teams are only 1,500 gold apart, really not that big of a difference.
The purple invade got sniffed out, and Power might be caught out. Gonna have to use that ultimate to get away. Henergy's here with a great wall, but Power goes back in for the kill. He's gonna get it on Midman. Dash was not enough for Midman to secure that kill onto Power after a great wall by Henergy. I thought for sure that fight was not gonna go that way when they got caught out at the purple buff. Now Vent's gonna have to kind of walk around the other way. He almost got caught out by the Athena and the X-Ball, but he is good to go.
I definitely wasn't expecting that either, but really good timing on abilities from that Dark Omen squad. Power dashes away at the right time. Henergy hits a big freeze, and Midman left without his beads. Palau already used. Not much hope there for the dodgy. As 2 deaths in about 2 minutes, Midman maybe getting a little over-aggressive. Definitely can see why, though. Has been really, really good so far in making sure he's involved in the kills and making a lot of pressure early. but now we start to see a little bit of focus on neutral objectives, as a Scorpion is going to be taken down by Life of the Afterparty. And I know this is something I talk about every time, but when do you like to see priority onto stuff like the Pyro, the Gold? Is that more of a time thing, or just kind of when you have the man advantage?
For me, it's when I have the map control that forcing out those neutral objectives gets me snowballing and puts the pressure really on the enemy team. Didacted did have to use ultimate to get away, but he is fairly safe for now. We'll see if he greeds for his blue buff again or if he learned his lesson. Power might catch him out though. Oh no, Didacted! Athena ultimate's coming in clutch though. The mitigations and the safety might be enough, but Didacted started backing again! So Taka catches him out and gets the kill. Daji ultimate's gonna bring in a couple, but I don't think there's gonna be any kills here. And now LoneWolf is the one stuck out. Big damage on. Execute though! Whiffs! Ymir was in the way with his big icy body, but LoneWolf falls regardless.
Yeah, good fight there from Dark Omen, catching out Didacted, who tried to lazy back not once, but twice. Does get punished for it, and that was a really good ult by Midman to kind of separate the fight there, as Vulcanal barely misses. Does Chiron get the steal? No, he does not.
Yeah, that was from downtown, but it was not good. Very close, though, but X-Ball really wanted that purple, and we almost just saw a repeat of what happened over in the solo lane. But Dark Omen taking advantage of their man advantage and the knowledge of X-Ball to sneak the Pyromancer at 12 minutes and begin what we were talking about with the map control. Begin that snowball, own the map.
And talking about Snowball, take a look at the player damage charts. That Achilles has double the damage to the next person. 12,000 damage up over the 6,000 of Didacted. And I mean, they have been brawling an absolute ton over there. I think that gives tribute to Kama. That's just how well he can sustain in lane. The Vampiric Bats, he's got the Health Chalice, the Warrior's Axe, everything you need to stay up. Now, Life of the Afterparty have drawn even in gold. Dark Omen was down, I think, about 1,500. Life of the Afterparty might need a pick or something here to open up the map a bit. Make sure they don't give any advantage over to this Chaos side team.
So, looking builds really quick, I always love picking your brain about builds. Ooh, over in the duo lane, X-Ball getting low, but not again. Vent, once again, cannot find the secure with his ultimates. It's been a tough day over there for the Chiron. LoneWolf just peeking around, making sure X-Ball's safe. They're going to have to back up. We do see some very different builds coming from the supports. I'd like to get your opinion on after another sneaky objective by Dark Omen. They get the Gold Fury. They're on a roll right now.
Yeah, and I think intelligent from Life of the Afterparty not to step up to that one. They did have the Oracles, so definitely saw it going on. Sehost caught way out of position. That might be a dead Vulcan.
There's the blink from Taka. Vulcan ultimate down onto himself. It could not get anybody away. Power gets the kill, though, before the execute can go, so no resets for this fight. LoneWolf taking a lot of damage under the tower. Midman going in for some damage, but instantly getting back out. We've got 4 in mid from Dark Omen, trying to continue that snowball. Oh, she pushed up a bit too far, potentially, and Taka's gone in for some punishment, but they're still under the tower, and they're taking a bit of damage this early on. Midman and LoneWolf using that to their advantage, and now Didacted is taking advantage of the time they've spent to come over. Although, over in the duo lane, Tier 1 tower has fallen, so kind of some minor L's, but L's all over the map for Life of the Afterparty.
Yeah, and we talked about it right at the start of the game, the importance of IGLs and the effect they could have, and I think Power has done a great job commanding their team around the map. I think Smart backing out of that Tier 1 when the Pele went into the jungle. And on the other side, Vent just pressuring out Wecci, if I'm pronouncing that right, over in the duo lane. Really good job by the Chiron. I think, like you said, normally X-Ball can be so dangerous with a lead. Credit to that Dark Omen ADC doing a really good job keeping that aggressive pick in check.
Yeah, and I think so far this game, the story has been kind of what we were talking about with that map control. Dark Omen has gotten a hold of it, and they are not letting go easy. It's going to take a major change for Life of the Afterparty to turn things around. Didacted, though, getting caught out over by the Pyromancer, taking major damage. Vulcan ultimate for some spacing. We talked about that earlier, and it's come to fruition, as now Didacted, thanks to the great Vulcan ult to get him away, secures his blue buff and keeps his life.
Yeah, and good job making sure they stay alive there, don't want to die again. But I think going back to builds, like you pointed out earlier, we do have a pretty big difference. With the supports, Ymir going for a lot more aura items, while Athena kind of focusing on herself with the Manicore spikes and the Mail Renewal. And I really like both of these for different reasons. I think Athena, with how much she gets around the map and how much damage she can provide on her own, that Mail Renewal will be extremely valuable. I think on the flip side, Ymir is somebody that stays with his team, they follow him in, and I think the aura items there are really going to come in clutch in those kind of heated fights. They get really confusing as now they're looking for this tier 2 tower on the left, and Life of the Afterparty a bit late on the rotation.
Lone Wolf is here, but it might have been at a strange time. At that point, you may as well just back up. And now Daji is going into ultimate as Wecci and Lone Wolf were walking away. And now Power with the blink onto Midman. Vulcan ultimate is no good. Midman's falling fast. There's the apple, but he's still alive, and Power's falling quickly. Achilles in the back goes for the execute. It's no good. Once again, no reset. Now Henergy's low. Midman's low. They both got to get out of there, but Henergy finds himself surrounded by Life of the Afterparty, but he's still alive. Didacted finally gets the kill onto Henergy before he could escape with that wall. And everybody's going to go their separate ways, but not after a very awkward duo lane jungle fight.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit of a weird fight to step up to at first, but credit to Life of the Afterparty, they do get that 2-for-1 trade. Maybe taking Dark Omen down a peg, thought they could get that early rotation and try to sneak that tier 2. No such luck though, still 2,000 gold in the lead, and Pyromancer just now coming back up. That all being said though, there's not much of a map advantage to speak of, which I think is a bit odd. I think objectively they've been playing the map a little bit better, but not finding enough buff invades maybe, or not pushing him back far enough. Life of the Afterparty definitely can still afford to, contest a lot of these fights.
You found the word. Congratulations.
I did. I was
but no, I think you made a really good point. I don't think Dark Omen has made enough of the map lead as we were looking for, because they really had it in control for a second, and they're slowly kind of giving it away and allowing Life of the Afterparty to stay and get back into this game. I do want to point out, though, as always, the little mechanical things. Scizzy, kind of a big mechanical thing. The ultimates have been on point. Those apples are hitting every single fight, and the damage is showing. Only 6k on the board, but each team fight so far, and that ricochet off the wall and solo, all impactful, all doing work.
Yeah, and I think pointing out damage like you talked about, the side lanes from Dark Omen are doing a really good job kind of holding their lane counterparts back, as it's a 3-level lead here, and a level disadvantage for the Achilles, despite having 18,000 damage at 18 minutes. Speaking of damage, trying to burst down Lone Wolf a little bit. Dark Omen look to clear this mid-tier 1 out, and I think that's the right play.
It is the right play, but they have to go through a very tanky Lone Wolf and an Emperor's Armor. They do get the tier 1, but if they push tier 2, it may not be the play. Henergy gets the kill onto Lone Wolf, who got a bit stuck. Dodgy ultimate came out, but it didn't do much. But in the back, doing work, is Didacted. In the front, doing work, is Sehost. Vent's got the kill onto Midman. X-Ball's fighting his way to the fight. Didacted has a double kill. Big damage from Sehost. He got a double meatball knockup. And all of a sudden, Dark Omen finds himself having to fall back as Life of the Afterparty has taken a hold of this fight.
Yeah, good cleanup there by Life of the Afterparty. I still think Dark Omen, a good fight from them. They do take that tier 1 tower. I think lose too many members, and I think one of the first, albeit really small misplays we've seen from Henergy so far, looked like the Ymir got a little bit turned around deciding who to go for, who to try and save. Unfortunately, both of his teammates fall, as now Primal Fury being looked at by Life of the Afterparty. Without that Centaurus ult, not much hope of stealing, but their presence alone is going to be enough to force him off.
Yeah, I'm not sure I was huge on that Primal Fury call anyway. It would have been a nice pickup, but I think it would have been very risky, especially with the members of Omen starting to get back alive. If you don't have the ability to burn it, just don't do it. Just walk away. But with that, they're going to get a purple invade and pressure out the X-Ball, who has had to basically pay rent under his tower this game.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, not maybe the best call for Primal Fury. Luckily, pull off it, and I think that's the right play for Life of the Afterparty. Is that's going to be a big pyro steal.
Blink steal! Power instantly turns to the Scorpion. He's got to talk and comms with the boys about how great of a steal that was. That was insane.
Yep, gonna make sure we have to clip that, send that to him, just so we can see just what a good job he did. But does steal away that Pyromancer. I think just as I was about to talk about, don't need to go for any risky calls. Life of the Afterparty, even though they're down in gold, they're down in levels a little bit, they've been doing a really, really good job in these team fights, keeping each other alive, and I think playing a little bit more coordinated than Dark Omen has. That being said, though, this can really get out of hand easily if they make a couple misplays, and I think Dark Omen has shown a really good job at capitalizing when Life of the Afterparty gives him the chance. Henergy steps a little bit too far up.
Gonna have to use the Purification Beads to get away from the taunt from the Athena, but I gotta be honest, I don't like this fight here for Life of the Afterparty because they're really starting to put that X-Ball behind. That Chiron is level 19 and doing chunks of damage. Go back to your farming, take some time away. This isn't arena. With that being said, at the moment, everybody's surviving, but it looks like we want to duke it out for this Primal Fury. Couple missed dashes go in anyway. Purification Beads out from the Chiron, and everybody from Life of the Afterparty is hanging back, but Henergy's taking a lot of damage, and Didacted wants to take him out. Midman goes up into the Daji ultimate, but hello, is anybody there? No, nobody's home. Nobody gets picked up in it. And all of a sudden, Life of the Afterparty kind of finds themselves out in no man's land. Taka blinks away from Didacted into the Athena, instantly gets taunted, instantly half health, and now the damage is turning onto Life of the Afterparty. Power kills Wecci. Execute, no good. Sehost is alive. Midman kills Power. Oh, that execute missing is starting to really not work out for Dark Omens. Vent picks up a big kill, and now Didacted gets stuck behind the wall. And he's gonna fall to Henergy, who gets to pick up the kill and the farm for that fantastic wall. Another strange fight.
Yeah, and the walls from Henergy all game have been really, really good, not finding too many missteps. I think, like you said, with that level difference, we saw Sehost and Wecci pressured out of that fight so early. I think Sehost, or no, it was Midman rather, still able to find a kill on the back end. I think the tanks here from Life of the Afterparty need to do a better job. Oh, big!
Oh, Sehost just blew up Henergy. Then blows up Midman in response. Sehost, I don't think is going to be able to pick up any of these mop-up kills unless... Oh no, another execute goes wide left. Sehost might be able to get away, and he will. And now LoneWolf is here trying to pick up some of these kills. They're low enough that this might be possible, but I don't know how far LoneWolf wants to chase this out. Here's the dash, here's the taunt, and here's the kill. There it is. Wecci's gonna pick it up, pulling through clutch for LoneWolf there. They almost got away, but only one kill out of those three low people on the side of Dark Omen.
Yeah, and I think smart from Life of the Afterparty not to try to chase that too far. Good for them for getting that one kill, especially onto Wecci, who has pulled to within 3 levels of the Chiron. Still not great, but you can only hit level 20 once, as Chiron has, so this X-Ball will start to catch up. Slowly but surely, and also a pretty big turnaround in the gold difference. That was about a 700 gold swing. So nice job from Life of the Afterparty. But now, I think this raises the question. All these objectives have been so contested, and with neither team finding an advantage. Do you think this Fire Giant is going to be a big fight, or is there going to be a massive team kill, a team wipe, and then we're going to see the FG?
I think this is one of those games that you and I tend to always get, where I think the Fire Giant fight might be more important than the Fire Giant itself this game. If one team gets knocked down, then they might be out for the count, because this game is on a pendulum swinging away, and it's going to take one small thing to make all the difference, and that small thing might be Taka getting caught out, but a big double stun. Vulcan ultimate is not quite in reach, and Taka's getting away so far, but the Daji ultimate comes out as well. 2 big ultimates used on Taka, and they still have not found the kill. Shell comes out, Meatball comes out, that's the kill. Midman uses a dash wisely to get away from the Ymir ult. Apple was gonna hit, but Vent said, I got this, uses the auto lock, and gets the big kill onto Midman. And now LoneWolf all of a sudden low, Sehost even lower. Vent's in the back low, Power gets the kill on the Sehost. And just like we said, it's the fights. It's not always about the Fire Giant in the SDL. And Life of the Afterparty has got to get out of dodge.
Yeah, and I think good call by Dark Omen to chase down kills rather than go right onto the Fire Giant by taking down that Camazotz if they can grab X-Ball.
Oh, what a dash by Wecci to get that kill to shut down Power, who was about to go on a 3-piece. big play from Wecci there to kind of calm things down.
Yeah, and I think smart call going for this Pyro here, less chance of contention. I really wouldn't be worried about an Athena or an X-Ball stealing it, but given how low that Chiron is and the fact that Athena's already back, I think probably the wise call not to risk it. And I think we've talked about with both these teams, they're so even that if they give a slight advantage to the other, if they overstep on aggression, they're really going to get punished for it. So I think both teams have to do a little dancing around this FG. May not be the most fun to cast, but it is certainly going to be effective if that's what they choose to do.
Yeah, it's so far been really effective. We are starting to see as they're continuing, the supports are continuing on the path that you called earlier on. Ymir is all about that teamwork, baby. Pestilence coming out, working on what I can assume might be a mantle. And on the other side, we've got a bulwark. Haven't seen that item in a while. One of my favorites, but have not seen it in a while. So I like the routes they're taking. We're really going to have to see how it pays off. What do you think?
I mean, I think both of these builds are very different. They're going to have different benefits, and I think that should be a Spirit Robe on the Ymir. I think we've seen that item in support a few times, maybe more popular than the Mantle, but one build path I want to talk about is the ADCs. This Chiron has a very high damage, single target burst, but I think the kin size on the X-Ball, when we get into these true late game fights, if he gets enough space to start hitting Henergy and start hitting Taka, he is going to do an amazing amount of damage. I think that Achilles is really light on physical protection for how hard this X-Ball is going to be swinging.
That might be a really good call by you, because once that Executioner is not only finished, but upgraded, the amount of damage that Wecci's going to start doing to these tanks is going to be absolutely off the charts insane. So Dark Omen probably needs to start putting their foot on the gas and end this game soon, because that X-Ball is going to become a problem.
Yeah, and I think by that same proxy, as Sehost almost gets...
Oh no, and the Blink follow-up. Here comes the Athena ultimate to try to bail out Sehost. Will it come in time? Yes, it will. No, it won't. Sehost falls. Now Power, though, caught out. Didacted gets the kill on the Power. Midman gets the kill onto Scizzy. Oh, here comes a huge fight. This might be a big difference maker. Henergy has to use his ultimate, but doesn't really do any damage and has no follow-up. Wall out to try to get them away, but Didacted blinks right through it. And now the fight is being taken to Dark Omen from Life of the Afterparty. Midman gets the kill onto Henergy, and Life of the Afterparty sees blood, but more importantly, they see a Fire Giant, and I don't know if Dark Omen can contest this. They've really only got the Chiron, and now it's only the Chiron as Taka has backed. Fire Giant down to a quarter. If Vet wants to steal it, he's got to do it now. Taka's here, Blink, not in time. Life of the Afterparty gets the Fire Giant, but now Taka might lose his life for even attempting it. Execute away, did not get the kill he could have had. He tried to escape. Wecci gets the kill. He's on a killing spree. Here's the X-Ball. We called it first, and now it's up to Vent to try to stall Life of the Afterparty, who's running it down with a Fire Giant.
Yeah, luckily for Vent, has his relics, has Centaurus as well, so should be able to stay alive. As for the tower, gonna go down. Midman, great engage.
Oh, for how long, though? He has to use the ultimate just to get away from the Daji ultimate. It's good, but playing it very dangerous there by Vent.
Yeah, but luckily for Vent, does keep himself alive. I think in that fight, especially on that Ymir, we saw kin size go absolutely nuts for Wecci, finding some really, really good damage. As he starts now chasing the higher-ups in this damage chart. Obviously, Chiron got off to an early lead, but really quickly closing now. 20k damage on an ADC is also really nice, but even more importantly, the advantage, for the first time, maybe all game, falls to Life of the Afterparty, who are now looking for this Gold Fury. And I think that's a great call, if anyone didn't know, and I think it was the last patch. Gold Fury now gives the same thing as that Draugur's Boon on defense, mitigating a lot of damage, so stripping that ability out of the hands of Dark Omen, I think, is a really smart call.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. So I think you and I always talk about it. We love these dual lane pushes, keeping Dark Omen spread out, keeping them away from the other side of the map. Fire Giant isn't up for a while, but Pyro's up, and if you can spread them out and you can keep control of that map and know where they're at and put the pressure onto dual lane, that can be big. Emperor's Armor could come up pretty clutch here for Lone Wolf. An early game item might pay big as they go for the potential final base siege.
Yeah, and I think it very well could be. Dark Omen needs to be careful how they pick their fights. Sehost gets a little
careful,
bit damaged.
Sehost.
Nothing much. And I think luckily for Dark Omen, Life of the Afterparty, they're not going for anything super aggressive. don't look totally committal. I think Dark Omen could put up a really big defense here, but I think Henergy and Taka in particular have to go huge. I think the big reason they lost the last few fights are they're either dying early or getting a little bit out of position. If those tanks can play together, it's going to be really hard for Afterparty to break this defense.
And on the other hand, if there's a lot of setup for Wecci, Wecci could just kill everybody. So they got to keep an eye on that. He almost just took out that Phoenix. But over on the side, Midman and Power ran into each other and exchanged a couple dukes, but nobody died. Vulcan ultimate out. Nobody home. Interesting call on the Vulcan ultimate there.
Yeah, a little early, but maybe they did know they were going to disengage. Just want to make some space so they don't have to expend anything. Onto the Pyro they go, and they're going to get it. And now Dark Omen chasing here. I'm not going to lie, I do not know if this is a good idea from them.
Yeah, I think Dark Omen, as it seems like they are, would do better just to fall back, clear their jungle, and make up for that lead that they're starting to give away. And just, yeah, they actually have given away now. But just finish up those items, finish up those builds, start upgrading your relics, prepare for the oncoming onslaught, and prepare for the next Fire Giant. It's so good they didn't chase that down. That was a good call.
Yeah, and I think while Dark Omen definitely are on the back foot, I think they're in a really good position. They've reached a point of the game where there's really no advantages in player builds, player levels. Everybody's level 20 except for Ymir. Everybody's got full builds except for a few tier 2 items that I'd expected are getting finished very, very soon here. So this is going to start coming down to who team fights better and who makes a better play calling. I think in endgame, definitely more than beginning and mid, the smallest misplays you have can become massive mistakes. We've seen it time and time again as we've gone through some of the weeks here. Now a big fight. Dark Omen has man advantage for a little, but Pele on the left needs to get back to this fight.
And Pele is going to back, and on that same note, Lone Wolf and Sehost decide they need to go back. I think a big change also needs to be Taka needs to get those executes out. The last time it was used as an escape. That's fine. But there have been multiple fights this game where Taka has gone wide left, wide right, or just straight whiffed on his executes that have left his team ultimately in bad spots. They pick up the kills, but if you get that execute off, you get that reset, it's huge. But Sehost might have gotten caught out. Here's the blink from Taka. We'll see if that comes true. The wall from Henergy, though, was more of an own goal. Now Power's got to use their own blink in the back. Will pick up the kill on the Sehost, but Sehost returns it onto Power from the grave. Wecci took a lot of damage and had to fall back. A bit of a 1-for-1, but more importantly there, a lot of stuff burned.
Yeah, and I think that is going to end up benefiting Dark Omen, getting Sehost down for longer. This Vulcan top of the player damage charts now and been having a massive impact on these team fights. More so than that, this Vulcan has been staying alive, I think, better than most people on this map, except for maybe the Chiron. In these fights, he's really been able to extend his life for a long time. I think luckily they have a little bit to establish a presence here at the Fire Giant. Like we all know, Fire Giant isn't the end game. The Fire Giant fight, however, really can be. Both teams, this could be the last fight heading into this FG dance.
Yeah, this EFG could be the difference maker. We see everybody setting up, everybody finding their position, picking their man. Who are they covering? It's going to be a tough one. Lone Wolf set up with the pre-dash, trying to figure out a target. We've seen Lone Wolf be very effective with those dashes. She's making a huge difference for Life of the Afterparty and really being the top setup person for Life of the Afterparty. We do see everybody kind of step in their other ways, though.
Yeah, and I think despite disagreeing a little bit with Lone Wolf's build, she has been playing absolutely lights out. I think not to take anything away from Henergy, but it seems like Athena having a little bit more of a tangible impact on these fights. I think Ymir's been really good, but Athena win ahead is a really, really good pick. I think Lone Wolf being able to kind of run it down has really benefited Life of the Afterparty. Now the Achilles backs, has tower teleport, but gives a little bit of an advantage now. Afterparty can afford to step up those crucial few seconds as Pele on the left side of the map. I gotta question that from Dark Omen. I don't know what the plan is there.
Yeah, if Life of the Afterparty figures that out, we could see them force the issue, but I don't think they know. And now all of a sudden, Power might get the sneak up from behind. Henergy's putting the pressure on. They don't know. There's the wall, but the wall blocks the apple. Power does get the kill on the Sehost, but once again, Sehost returns it. Vent gets the kill onto Wecci. That's massive. Dark Omen's gonna run it down. Oh, but Vent got caught out. Beads early. Dodgeal out. Vent's gonna die to Midman, but Scizzy gets the kill onto Midman. Lone Wolf is the second to last member standing, but Didacted has already fallen back to the tower. Lone Wolf had her way out, though, and now it's a fire giant fight. Life of the After Party just made some crucial misplays.
Yeah, and that was a great fight by Dark Omen to clean that up, and an even better job, I think, by Life of the After Party. Midman and Lone Wolf, I think, did a great job kind of mitigating that damage. They take the ADC down. They can't get Fire Giant now. They have a tough time sieging towers. They're behind in main count, but not a lot Dark Omen can do. And
Yeah.
Powa, outplaying all of us, even here on the desk, by diving that deep, got past all of the wards that Life of the After Party had set up. And for the second fight in a row, disrupts the flow and is able to get Sehost down early. So really, really good job from that Pele.
I think that fight could have gone very different if Henergy did not wall off Discordia's apple.
Yeah, it definitely could have. That Discordial is incredibly important, but not going to find the right impact, as now, again, without Fire Giant going down, I think we are going to see the same exact thing. I think, like we said, Dark Omen, although they do win that play, not able to get a whole ton off. If I am Dark Omen, I want to start pushing down that Trebuchet on right lane, because if you are able to win this FG fight, it's going to give you a really solid opening onto that right side Phoenix.
Pyromancer does fall to Dark Omen, but we're at a point where it isn't going to make... It's not going to win you the game right now. What could win you the game is this EFG and this EFG fight. But we have yet to actually see an incredibly impactful fight over the Fire Giant. The only time it's been taken this game, it was very decisive on how it went. So both teams just doing the dance, but Power, once again, is sneaking around in the jungle, going all the way around again. Is this going to work a second time?
I think it is. There are not many wards deep here from Life of the After Party. You would think after 2 times in a row, though, they gotta be expecting it. We are not going to see the Trebuchet push up. Oh, but is going to clear the minions. Okay, maybe planting a little bit of doubt in their mind and going to get the back off. Maybe this is where the Trebuchet starts pushing.
Oh, this could be a really good play. He shut up on the maps. They turned around, and just like that, Dark Omen gets to push up and get a bit of an advantage. They're letting it go quick, though. Didn't get much off of it. Lone Wolf with the dash. Instantly responded is Henergy's freeze. Here comes Vulcan ultimate. It doesn't find anybody, but in the back, Scizzy gets picked up by Didacted, and very quickly, Midman up into the sky, trying to land Discordia ultimate. Nobody home. Henergy's trying to get away. He's low. Midman gets the kill on the Power. Lone Wolf very low in the back, but Henergy's even lower in the front. Didacted gets the double kill. But Midman gets the kill on the Taka, and it's another double kill. And now there's only one member left, and once again, it's Vent. So this is a free EFG for Life of the After Party.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why they're going on to EFG instead of just ending. I don't think Vent can do enough by himself. To their credit, definitely have time with 30 seconds on timers. It might be close to when Scizzy does respawn. But I think Life of the After Party, if they just W key down, this should be an easy win. And a great fight from them, noticing that Power was gone. And I think Midman making a difference up onto that Palau, getting some damage. Clean fight by Life of the After Party to maybe close this one out.
I don't think we're going to see any one-man heroics by Vent, but I always could always be wrong. Titan's going incredibly fast, though. Ultimate out from Ven. Scizzy's here. Not going to be in time. Victory for Life of the After Party after a demanding victory at the Fire Giant.
Yeah, really good job by Life of the After Party. They had kind of been a little bit behind all set. Nothing really to look at twice. But in the end, they are going to finally get that edge, able to close out Dark Omen and take back game number 1 at this best of 3.
You know, that was a pretty good performance all around, but at the end there, we thought it was going to be Wecci who made the impact, but it really ended up being Sehost and Midman combining for all the damage with the combination of Didacted just diving into that backline and blowing them up, and really Scizzy didn't get to play the last 3 fights of the game.
Yeah, really didn't. And that was unfortunate because I think up to that point, it done a really good job keeping themselves alive. And the Discordia Apple, too, was so impactful in a few of those early team fights. But when it got late, not able to see just that, as I think Vulcan, topping the damage charts, did a much better job being able to transition into that late game team fight. And as a result, I think Life of the Afterparty finally got that edge.
And with that, we'll be right back with game number 2 of this set on the Smite Draft League. Last game, the fight at Fire Giant made all the difference for Life of the Afterparty, but even more damaging than that was the backline diving from Didacted. Let's find out just how Dark Omen's going to respond. I'm Anthony. I've still got KingFsher with me. Let's get into picks and bans.
Yeah, and I think respond indeed. That's kind of been the name of the game here these first few weeks as we do go into game 2s. And the couple teams that have been able to answer back and get a win, I think have looked on a roll going into game 3 most of the time. So Dark Omen really want to get off to a quick start here, and they are going to take away Midman's Dodgy. I think that's a great move. That Dodgy, especially late game, was really, really impactful.
It's almost like Midman heard us in the picks and bans about how it hasn't been impactful in the hands of most players so far this season and flipped that whole narrative on its head. That Dodgy was damning for Dark Omen.
Yeah, and I think if you are Life of the Afterparty fan, you got to thank the Caster's Curse on that one a little bit as a really good strong showing by that Life of the Afterparty jungler. Now, the same bans I think we saw in game 1, and one ban we're seeing now repeatedly in the SDL is Hades, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not incredibly sure why. It seems like it should be a really easy pick to kind of take advantage of if your team can coordinate well.
Yeah, and I also think that the Vulcan might be something worth considering getting off, because that Vulcan was, at the end, game-changing.
Yeah, and I think kind of hard to tell if some of that was Vulcan or some of that just was Sehost doing a really good job up until the last fight or two, I think, staying alive, dodging around a lot of abilities, and was able to go pretty deep without getting too harshly punished. And now it's going to be the Athena ban, targeting out Lone Wolf. I think, just like we talked about with Sehost, I don't know how much of that was the Athena pick, and less so I think Lone Wolf picking targets incredibly well.
Yeah, we talked about it towards the end there. We pointed out the mechanics of Lone Wolf diving in constantly. She was really setting up so strongly. We do see the Yemoja come out, and I think that Yemoja could be the perfect pick to start off for Dark Omen. I know we're not the biggest fans of Yemoja going early, but getting her through, getting her first picked could be the difference maker, because the last game, assuming it goes support, Henergy's Ymir kind of fell off at the end, so giving that Yemoja the support role could be a game changer.
Yeah, and I think even though it kind of maybe struggled a little bit compared to Lone Wolf in late game, I think Henergy all throughout that game was pretty consistent, and I think the longer walls a Yemoja and the more tools to kind of help support your teammates, and find aggression is really going to benefit his playstyle, because I think Taka was really one of the main dive tools along with power. So I think it kind of transitioning to Henergy over to something that can keep the teammates alive. I think Scizzy in particular had a problem late game staying alive, but gonna have an even rougher time as Cupid, Horus, two really, really strong picks.
Ooh, but in response, we see that Kama and I was excited for the Rama, but I do like the On Her. I love the Rom cripple into Cupid, but I love how On Her boxes out with Cupid. On Her has the CC immunity to deal with Fields of Love. It's a really good response pick. We see the Osiris. I was about to freak out that Midman got Horus, but Midman might be running that Osiris too.
Yeah, now we just gotta see set. We need to see that Egyptian trifecta. And Osiris, kind of a pick we have not seen a lot of lately, but does a lot of things really well. Anti-heal, great into Emoji and Kamazots. He ults on top of him, and a big part of both of their kits is pretty gone. As well as if this is a Kamazot solo again last game, I think did really good job with Achilles, and I think Osiris maybe does a better job of pressuring out that solo lane in the first few levels. Does insanely well boxing.
I'm trying to think here of what I want to see from mids, and that's kind of where my issues are lying. The Vulcan was incredible, and I would love to see it again. But when it comes to the Discordia, I think I'd like a change.
Yeah, I think it did pretty well on Discordia, but not quite able to transition to that late game. And I do think it is criminal if Dark Omen does not ban Vulcan here. I think if they don't, Sehost should absolutely run it back. But I think one mage that we haven't seen a ton of lately that I'd really like to see step up a lot more as there's a Vulcan ban is Scylla. Scylla does such a good job getting the massive damage off late game, does incredibly well on objective secure. If Power keeps up that dive like he did last game, a pick like that could absolutely 100-0 jungler, give Sehost a lot easier time staying alive.
We do see a Geb come out too. I have been a big fan. I have kind of turned a corner on Geb. I used to not be the biggest fan, mostly because of how Geb played, but I have found so much value as of late in that Geb, especially seeing it played in this league, and the versatility that Geb has in the Premier League is very surprising too.
Yeah, we have seen a Geb jungle earlier this year. Luckily, I don't think it is going to be a Geb jungle. I would really expect that Osiris to go to midman. I think given the way he played Dodgy last time, it really does fit his playstyle. Able to kind of group people up and really just likes diving in and dishing damage. And the Baba Yaga lock-in, I think undoubtedly
House.
Discordia. Yeah, gonna help him stay alive really well in late game fights. Although I would have liked to see something else, I think still a really strong pick there in mid.
Yeah, I do like the change. It's not exactly what you were asking for or what I was hoping for, but I do like it all the same. Hopefully we'll get to call an exciting Scylla game. And the Thanatos!
Oh.
We have been asking and begging for a Thanatos, and we got it!
And an Opwash hover on the other side. If this is an Opwash lock-in, and it is, this is going to be an incredible set.
Oh, I don't even want to wait anymore. We'll be right back. We'll see you in game. Let's do this!
Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headache stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need. What you need. We're broken, it's tragic. We're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic. Believe you could have it. And I know of sadness, the anxious and panic, the infinite vastness of all that is blackness. So tell me, oh, will you believe? So tell me, oh, will you believe? So tell me, oh, will you believe?
Life of the After Party is one game away from redemption, but Dark Omen is still here and still fighting, and they brought the Bringer of Death! I'm Anthony, he's KingFsher, let's do it!
Yeah, Bringer of Death and the Bringer of Joy to casters, as we do see a little bit of a role change there for Dark Omen. Power going to be going into the solo lane, and Taka into the jungle on that Thanatos. I thought those two players did really well last game. I'm kind of unsure why they would go with the role change. Do you think maybe just fitting the characters a bit better? No, it's not. It's a Thanatos solo.
You have been baited by the iNooblet, my dear fish. But no, I'm excited to see this Thanatos. It could go to any lane. I don't care. It could be a Thanatos ADC, and I'd still be rocking with it. And look at them brawling. Oh, I love it. Give it to me all the time. The Osiris versus the Thanatos is not a lane you get to see often, but boy, is it a fun lane to watch. I can't wait to see that going forward. But we also have an Aposh this game, which I know you were quite excited about. Oh, hold that thought, because Vent just dashed in onto Wecci, who had his cute little love train to get away on.
Yeah, a lot of missed abilities there for Dark Omen, but credit to Wecci. Did have to burn beads, but gets away safe. Sehost dropping low, gonna have to drop himself some bodies to heal up. And I kind of like that Thanatos in the solo lane. I think it might have a little bit better of a fight into Osiris. If he drops low, he can just hit him with the axe, or scythe rather, and he's all good. So I think should be able to sustain a lot better against Didacted.
After that performance on Achilles, giving Taka the Thanatos has me excited. I'm only worried about one thing, and it's the same thing we saw from that Achilles. Those executes have to be on point, and that could be the difference maker in this game.
Yeah, and I think also a big difference maker in kind of good versus great Thanatoses is being able to decide when you need to ult for execute, when you really need a big pick, and when you're able to ult from engage. And I know like one of the few critiques we did have against that Achilles was not using the ultimate for enough engages and having to be used defensively. I think Thanatos late game is going to exclusively engage with that to the skies, so should really see a lot more aggressive Taka here, which I really like. I think definitely getting down and dirty against this team is going to be worth it. Opwash, not the most mobile mage, should be an easy kill.
Tiny, but I love it. Power was able to steal back one of those back camps from Midman who was invading and secures the blue buff. But Taka and Didacted can't get over there. We've got two separate brawls. Taka gets away safely. So far, same can be said for Power and Midman, but they're still duking it out. Didacted walks over, which is enough for Power to walk the other way. Great defense of his own jungle there by Power.
Yeah, good job there from the Camazotz. But now we are still seeing a little bit of Dark Omen pressing their foot here in the duo lane. I think we saw it last game as well. They did a really good job in forcing a Jiba Lonk and an Athena under their tower. A really hard feat, so maybe I do want to see Dark Omen play a little bit more out of their side lanes this game. I think last game, that was a really big advantage they had going into the mid to late game, but we kind of didn't see a ton come of that. Neither pick were really able to kind of get enough damage, get in great positions late. I think a little bit more emphasis towards that might help them win this third game.
I think you are absolutely on point there. And I think going forward, we talked about the Midman getting the Horus a lot, but I think that might be something to watch. But I also want to see Power on this Kama pull through, because the Kama was really effective last game. And I'm glad to see it taken away, and I want to see what it can do. Oh, yeah. Splits the middle with the jump, and Power isn't far behind. The blink, but the pillar blocks the damage. We'll see if that matters. Lone Wolf falling fast. First blood for Dark Omen.
Yeah, and in a turnaround from last game, it was Life of the Afterparty last time with Midman on that dodgy coming over to get first and second blood. It's a good job on Dark Omen establishing an early lead. I think, like you said, with the Camazotz, I do like it in the jungle. Maybe I'm weird like that, but I think assassins belong in the jungle. I think that aggressive play will benefit him as iZVENT uses the ult to take down Wecci, and it is going to be another 2 kills from the duo to start it out.
Wecci looked at that on her the wrong way and roared, and the baby's diaper is now full, and he is gone. Scizzy's going to have to get away out of mid lane, but that's a big, big kill for that on her, who now has 2.
Yeah, And a good job getting 2 kills. I thought you were saying 2 levels at first. I got really confused. Math is hard sometimes. But Didacted kind of just sitting still here in the solo lane. As funny as it is, maybe like to see him go for those single harpies on the side, which are both still up, or maybe after this wave.
That was a really toxic sidestep. I have to say it.
Style point for sure.
I have been there. I've been on both ends of that, and it hurts when you're the Thanatos because you didn't do anything wrong. It just hurts. But the Honor getting 2 kills early and getting that Dev's Glove online before Cupid has even finished the full Transcendence to get it stacking could be a big difference in that duo lane.
Yeah, definitely could. And I think stacking items as far as they go, Transcendence, when it does come online, Cupid should be favored.
Oh, it's a brawl at the Scorpion Fish. Power's got to get out of there. Henergy with much of the same. Life of the Afterparty, though, couldn't secure any kills quite yet. Henergy's very low, Power's even lower, and now Power begins the great chase around the jungle. He's healing, he's jumping, he's gliding. Is he away? I think he is. What a fantastic escape from Power. Midman's still on the hunt, but I don't think he's going to get him unless Power overplays his stay. Midman's there, Power! Run away! Don't stop this time! That was so close.
Yeah, good job by Power staying alive, showcasing that mobility on the Camazot's Midman. Blinks back in, not going to be able to find much though. With speed buff down too, Midman I think wasting a little bit of his own time, but delaying that back from Power. Big aggression from on her.
Unafraid to jump in with the hearts. Oh, and the perfect timing on the ultimate. It's a solo for Vent onto Wecci. Well played by the Honor.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem to matter what ADC he's on. Vent gets the better of Wecci again now. 3-0, 6 minutes in. Level 8 ADC. Really, really good start from Dark Omen. And I know it's something I harp on a lot, but I think that's really going to open up this map early. In Premier, we have seen teams take Gold Fury as soon as 8 minutes. And although I don't think that's a right call, definitely would like to see some aggression here out of Dark Omen. The quicker they can get a lead against this team, the better, as they're looking for a red invade.
LoneWolf discovers that Honor has been hanging out in her jungle, and it looks like Sehost and LoneWolf got to fall back. Geb forced to use the ultimate, but here comes Midman for the defense, and all of a sudden Vent finds himself very low. Power even lower, he's dead, but Midman's all of a sudden even lower than that. Vent jumps in, gets another kill. Sehost does get a double kill onto Scizzy, but Vent is dangerous. I don't know if I chase this if I'm Life of the Afterparty. Wecci is here though and full health, but I think Dark Omen's gonna get away. Oh, but Vent made the greedy turn. LoneWolf finds him, but he jumps away with perfect timing to avoid the knockup. Crazy how much a level lead can do for you on that Honor.
Yeah, LoneWolf helping Vent along there a little bit, and now Taka returning the favor onto that Osiris, trying to delay the pack. Didacted just wants to leave.
Oh, it happens again.
Oh,
LoneWolf
no.
might have hung out too long in the jungle. Oh, but the Cupid's there for defense. Honor beats it, jumps in, gets the kill. It's a rampage, but he's gonna get shut down by Sehost. The greed got the better of the mighty lion.
Yeah, not too many wards on that side of the map from Dark Omen. Gotta think maybe didn't know the Opwatch was on his way. Taka's on his way.
Taka's
Straight to
just
the grave.
body blocked. Oh no, he's gonna fall to Didacted. Not what I want to see out of the Thanatos, but I do love seeing Power pick up the kill onto Sehost in the back. Bully that Opwatch, send him back to Joust.
Yeah, good job there invading from Power. Does get the small shutdown onto Sehost, level 10, 8 minutes in. Not normal to see for an Opwatch, but I think over time starts to get really good presence in that lane. Just one-shots a wave and has a ton of time to go do side camps, help with invades, help with the ganks. So I think Baba Yaga here is going to have a really big task, not only keeping up in levels with this Opwatch, but being able to do as much on the map as he can.
Yeah, I think we were both excited to see what that Baba Yaga brings. We haven't quite seen it yet, but Baba Yaga shows up with authority later on. So very excited for that. You see anything crazy with builds early on? Last time we saw a lot of discrepancies from player to player.
You know, I think there still is that variety in the, oh gosh, supports that we're seeing. And I think it does fit their playstyle. We saw LoneWolf playing more aggressive, Henergy playing more passive, so I do like the builds from both. I think the only really big difference we see now is both mids going for a double stacking route. This is something that's picked up, I think, in the last few days, not even week 1 we saw it. Power getting really far in. Should be able to get away, though, as Didacted does not want to ult to get the kill.
He did manage to successfully steal that blue buff on the invade, and Vent is just sitting in Afterparty's jungle, bullying Wecci from his own lane, and there is nobody punishing him over there. Vent has full control of the left side of the map right now.
Yeah, and Vent has full control of the left. Didacted has pretty good control of the right. I think last game we saw him get off to a pretty early setback, but this game not the case, as Midman able to find it out. Henergy's bubble there hurting him a little bit. Emoji walls go up, might be a dead Horus.
Here's the waves. They're going to crash in. Midman's going to crash out. He's gone. Sehost picked up the kill on Henergy. Didacted picks up the kill onto Scizzy. And everybody showed up from Life of the Afterparty at the perfect time. But in the duo lane, Wecci survives. I didn't have to call it the solo lane. Cupid's out of there. No more kills from Honor at the moment. But overall, great fights across the map from Life of the Afterparty, including Wecci, who survived.
Yeah, and I think maybe a little bit of confidence coming over from last game. Life of the Afterparty are looking much stronger early here. I think Dark Omen still might be at a bit of a lead, and looking at these two comps, I think Dark Omen, if they start getting the individual picks, I think a lot of their gods are more suited for the small fights when it comes to big team fights. That Apwash, the Fields of Love, the Cataclysm from Geb, it is really going to be a tough fight if they start getting behind here in this mid game. That Life of the Afterparty team, I think more so than Dark Omen, can really start snowballing.
And snowballing for Dark Omen could be gigantic because the team comp they have for that, Thanatos not so much going to be the benefactor of that so far, but if you can get an Anhur, a Camazotz, a Baba Yaga, if you can get those characters ahead, it is a miserable time on the other side no matter who you're playing. If that Thanatos can somehow manage to get back in this game and catch up, as he hasn't fallen too far behind yet, Dark Omen might be able to take this game.
They definitely could, and I think both teams, normally we're used to kind of just seeing one team that can really pop off and one team that's a lot safer, going to be more reliable. I think both these comps have the ability to really do some great things. Solid stun by Henergy, not much should come of it though.
Unless Lone Wolf can't get out of there, the Camazotz is sticking like glue. Over in the duo, the blink from Midman onto Vent. Cupid's here, Fields of Love. Sehost got a kill in mid. Wecci has a kill in left. Vent has fallen. I repeat, Vent has fallen. Life of the Afterparty fans everywhere rejoice.
Yeah, and I think good discipline there from Vent, not using the beads, not using the ult, although really good job by Midman and Wecci managing to catch him out. Horus rather now with 4 assists, a little bit less kill participation than we see from the Camazotz, but I think still doing a really good job. And wow, talk about build difference. That is a Contagion second item from Osiris. I do not think that I have ever seen that.
Yeah, I like the play, but I don't think I've ever seen that either. And that's something I feel like I would see a Bologna maybe build or a Sun Wukong against a Thanatos, but going in on Osiris is a move that's going to keep that Thanatos pressured out, but I don't know how valuable it's going to prove for the Osiris late game. We'll have to see. But early on, I like the move.
Yeah, and talking about builds and stuff we like, this Anhur is building into crit. I think that's great on Anhur. You can already kill in like 3 or 4 autos with
especially a head.
Build. Yeah, add crit in there, and this is going to be a really scary ADC. Speaking of scary, Henergy loses half his health. Oh, gosh. Didn't even do anything either.
Henergy's going to have to be careful around that Opwash. That was some serious damage. Lone Wolf runs into Power again, but this time Midman has her back. Power gets boinked up against the wall and picked up by Midman. He's got a kill on the Horus. Game over for Life of the Afterparty fans. But the fight isn't done in mid as Henergy walks up from the weirdest angle possible, gets left behind. Double kill for Midman. Scizzy kind of left Henergy out to dry a bit there, but ultimately escapes with his life, so probably for the best. Support lives don't matter.
Yeah, and I don't think Henergy will be too upset about that. Always worth it to have support guy from mid. Scizzy might still fall, gets way too aggressive.
Scizzy got very aggressive onto Midman, and Midman responds by going on a killing spree. And Wecci has caught up in levels to the 5 and 2 on her. As I say that, he gets one more, but very impressive from Wecci staying in this game.
Yeah, kind of crazy considering that Honor has 5 kills, Cupid only with the 1 and a handful of assists. I think really goes to show how good Wecci's doing, staying up in farm, keeping some wave pressure now as Honor again looks to get aggressive. Has wards on the left side though, Honor needs to get out.
But he's gonna take Wecci with him. He jumps, trying to take on everybody from Life of the Afterparty, but Lone Wolf is having none of that. Picks up the kill onto Vent. Didacted, though, feeling the pressure on the other side of the world. Oh, here comes the execute! Can he hit it? No! The blink from Didacted gets away! Oh, Taka's confidence once again has been stained from Didacted and his slick moves.
Yeah, I think Didacted could have ulted out a lot earlier without even the threat of that Thanatos execute. Playing with fire a little bit, does escape with his life though. I think going back to that ADC kill, I really like that trade from Vent. I think Wecci had been catching up, so making sure Wecci only gets an assist, doesn't get a kill for him, and more so, without retreating, does not have to give up any of his farm. That purple buff should remain intact. I think red buff invade also would have been open to Life for the Afterparty if they were able to chase down that on her with their Cupid alive. Now we see a Pyromancer call from Afterparty, and Dark Omen are here to contest.
They have sniffed it out before it's even at half health, but nobody can break through the combined front of Didacted and Midman. They've got everybody busy, but the Pyromancer is so tanky that Taka has gotten there. Life of the Afterparty does pick up the Pyromancer, but at what cost? Taka is the cost. Sehost gets the kill onto the Thanatos, who probably hung out a little bit too long over there by the Pyro. Fields of Love dropped. Power is going to be forced into ultimate. Gonna die to the dot damage from Sehost. That's a double kill for Sehost. Henergy might be next on the chopping block. Oh, everybody's here. There's the heart bomb. Henergy's dead. Scizzy left alone in mid, but over in the duo lane with an army of archer minions is Vent.
Yeah, and Vent will be able to clean up that tier 2. Now, Life of the Afterparty don't elect to go for the middle tier 1, maybe a little odd. Definitely could have got it down fast. They are going to leave it for later days as they just reset, and now with so many members on Dark Omen being down, I think this is really an opportunity for Afterparty to take a little bit of map control. They had a decent amount game 1, but game 2, it's been fairly even, maybe missing a small opportunity there to expand their influence. They are looking for the Gold Fury though, and Dark Omen are going to step up again. This time it's going to be Vent.
But Vent's alone for now. Baba Yaga is the closest one. Gold Fury, though, still fairly healthy. Horus Ultimate's coming in from the back. Midman's going to come in hot, but Vent is still up in front, throwing hands. Jumps just in time before Midman lands on top, but that's enough to secure the Gold Fury for Life of the Afterparty. Now we've got a 4-on-5 with Taka coming in a bit late into the left lane. A blink onto Scizzy, but Skizzy's going to have to use the Purification Beads to get away. And it looks like who is that? That's Power! Power just got blown up. I couldn't even see his name. And now they're going to turn their attention to the mid lane with Taka, who is trying to find the right positioning and where to stand. Vent is going to go back to the duo lane. Same play as earlier. I almost wish he'd rotate to this fight because Life of the Afterparty is running it down mid and picking up everything they can. And it's going to be a 3-on-4 in the mid lane.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think Honor on left is to play. Luckily for Dark Omen, Life of the Afterparty will just kind of leave it. I don't think they want to commit for that tier 2. Dark Omen look a little scattered this game. I think last game they did a really good job early with Taka and Power finding a lot of aggression. Power hasn't found that same impact, and I think Taka being even levels with this Osiris has not really found his groove yet. So Life of the Afterparty, I think, are in firm control of this game. Dark Omen really needs a big fight here to kind of wrestle it back. This might be their opportunity. A aggressive Fire Giant call 19 minutes in.
There's only 2 players over here from Dark Omen, and Taka hasn't sniffed it out yet. Bitman is going to go to the Scorpion. They're gonna call it off, but I almost wish they committed. Taka does get caught out, though, by Sehost, who finds himself on a rampage on that Op Wash.
Yeah, definitely could have stayed committed, but they do find a kill, and it no harm as long as Lone Wolf gets out. Now Vent on the left side has to start retreating. That on her is still not rotating.
Yeah, I really want to see that on her commit more.
Yeah, and I think especially I don't think exactly being on left is a bad call.
No.
Cupid being in these fights is really impactful. His power's in trouble. Big blink from Didacted.
Big blink from Didacted, but so far no kills to follow up with it. Henergy's bringing Sehost and Lone Wolf, but the waves are going to be enough to cut them off from Didacted, but power is still dropping fast. Henergy and Power are trying to take on Didacted, but he's level 17, and he's doing numbers. Power is going to be forced into the ultimate. Lone Wolf low in the back. Midman gets a big kill on Vent in the jungle, who was finally rotating over. Scizzy's in the front, getting picked off in the back. Power almost dead. Midman's here. Taka goes up into the ultimate. Sehost picks up the kill on the Scizzy. Everybody on Dark Omen once again was just so separated. There was no way they could win that fight as a team.
And it really should have been a fight that they did win. They had the 4-on-3 advantage there with Midman and Wecci chasing down Vent, but not quite able to get it done. And yeah, I think that on her missing is hurting them. I think last game when they had Vent in fights, they looked a lot more confident. Vent was doing a really good job finding damage, finding killing blows. And he has been finding killing blows this game with 6 of them. But look at that build with Deathbringer and Wind Demon. There is no Spectral Armor yet on the side of Life of the Afterparty. I believe it's what Didacted is building now. But the second this on her rotates, and I think it'll be for this next Fire Giant, he's going to put out massive damage.
You know, this is no matter how this game ends, because anything can happen, Wecci has shown exactly what to do when you're playing from behind. If you can out-rotate them, if they're being a bit too pompous with the lead, you can make them pay for it. And that's exactly what Wecci has done. Power chooses to take the fight after losing half his health, dies to Midman, who's now on a rampage. And Dark Omen find themselves down a member as Horus Ultimate goes into mid lane with no immediate follow-up. Kind of interesting decisions all around.
Yep, and if I'm Life of the Afterparty here, I'm not pulling off this fire, I'm going straight to it. You know the on her isn't going to be at this fight. At the very worst, you have a 5-on-3 here. And I think luckily they are going to stick with it. I think very little chance of steal here as we might see Taka take to the skies, but no. Fire's not full for Life of the Afterparty, and Thantos has to ult to get out. On her, going for red.
Taka's in the sky and he's gone.
Yeah,
on her, once again, kind of on the other side of the map. I don't think they could have contested the Fire Giant, but Vent needs to start playing with his team. It's been a 5v4 for the last 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah, and Vent is on his way back, and I think as much as we are harping on it, I don't think it would exactly be a big deal, but it is, I think, the little bit of impact that they're missing. And now, Life of the Afterparty pushing onto the Phoenix, and now on her and Camazot's coming back over.
Now they have to back.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any chance Life of the Afterparty gets a Phoenix here, even with their Fire Giant. This on her is level 20, he has most of his build, just got Death's Temper, and he is going to hurt, and I don't think Life of the Afterparty are really ready for that damage right now.
That's one of 2 things going Dark Omen's way. The on her hasn't been there, so Life of the Afterparty has no idea the kind of damage he's going to output, and he's going to be outputting a ton. But if he's going to hang out on that side of the map, I would have loved to see him maybe attempt to solo the Fury, pick up that tier 2 tower in mid lane. But the Fury is going to fall to Life of the Afterparty. Both tier 2s are still standing. There's a tier 1 in left. Pyromancer will go the way of Dark Omen, but I think I want to see some more group cohesion from Dark Omen. And if they can pull that together, combined with the damage that Vent is going to output, I think they can turn things around.
Yeah, and it looks like Dark Omen again going to be late to the punch. None of their members backing to defend this tier 2. And I gotta wonder, maybe this is something they've identified. Now on her is going to back. It looks like a little bit too late. No, okay, I think that's the right choice, pushing into tier 1 with that wave. With Camazot's proxying that Oni, there's a decent chance Dark Omen get a tier 2 here to kind of even it out. That's actually a sneaky good play from Dark Omen. If they
it is, but they got to get back in time to defend the Phoenix. It's going to be a house from Scizzy to try to defend the Phoenix, but it's falling fast. Oh, Thanatos dropped down at a great time. Vent picks up the kill onto Midman. Scizzy gets his own onto Wecci. And oh, it's a brawl in the dual lane in defense of this Phoenix. The Phoenix was able to survive, and now Vent here showing the damage we've been waiting on. But Sehost almost just blew up Vent. Didacted missed the sight though. Not enough to get the kill, but Vent's still sticking around. Blink from Lone Wolf. basic attack! Vent falls! We waited for the damage and it still isn't here! Now Henergy, Taka, Scizzy, and Power are all that's left to defend this Phoenix, but Life of the Afterparty backing up. It's a 3v4. They can't quite take it, even with a fully healthy Sehost. Taka looking around the side, trying to make something happen. The Emperor's armor is going to slow down that Phoenix. Taka goes on to Didacted, but so much damage is returned, and Sehost is still full health. So is Scizzy, though. Blink from Didacted onto Taka, not finding much damage so far. Sehost down low. Lone Wolf down low. Didacted gets the kill. Power gets his own onto Sehost. Scizzy gets one onto Lone Wolf. Didacted falls to Scizzy. It's a double kill. And might have just saved Dark Omen.
Yeah, they aren't able to quite save the Phoenix, but incredible fight from Dark Omen. Pushed up to their backlines and did a really good job separating that fight. Vent did a ton of damage in that first one. I think he rose about 3 or 4k.
Yeah.
Just getting those tanks down. And yeah, Lone Wolf, good job getting that return kill. And then Life of the Afterparty, I don't know if I love the call to stick around. Did get the Phoenix, but now I think open the door a little bit for Dark Omen. They have a 4-on-2, and this is the time, if you're an Order side fan, you want to see them push out, get those minions up, start taking some buffs. This is the opening that Dark Omen need to kind of regain their footing.
Yeah, I think they can do a lot with that victory they just had. Oh no, Wecci. Wecci, run, run. You've got wings. Fly away, Wecci. Oh, he looks like he's going to be okay. Vent really wanted it, but doesn't want to overcommit with a lack of vision. Good call from Vent with the lack of information, but dangerous for Wecci. That was close.
And one thing I'm excited to see in Vent's build, he does have 2 glyphs. Obviously, you can only get one of those. And if it's you, do you kind of value those Executioner upgrades, or are you going with a Deathbringer? I know which one I would want, but I want to hear your input.
I recently have really fallen in love with the Executioner upgrade. The damage that you can do onto tanks, you almost wouldn't even know it if you didn't try it. But once you try it out, you can really do some work onto tanks. And Lone Wolf and Didacted could really find themselves in trouble, at least in my opinion, from Vent if he chooses to go the Executioner upgrade route.
Yeah, you see, I'm going to disagree for 2 reasons, I think, and they are very minor reasons. I think the first is that Envenom Deathbringer, it does give a little bit of anti-heal as far as I'm aware, and that's really valuable against that Poish, the Osiris, and the Cupid.
That's a good call.
Second off, getting that Executioner upgrade early really helps stack it, as it's an aggressive Fire Giant from Life of the Afterparty, and they should have it. Dark Omen needs to contest.
They're getting it down fast. It's already below half health. Taka and Power are here. Power goes in. Life of the Afterparty does get it. Power was not quite in time to get the steal. Taka, though, getting away, but I don't think Power is going to be so lucky. Midman gets the kill onto the Kamazots, and it's going to be a 4v5, and Life of the Afterparty has got the Fire Giant. Things are looking bleak for Dark Omen, but Vent got a Phoenix.
Yeah, and that's a really good play from Vent. I like the on her not being at that Fire Giant to contest. I think if anything goes wrong, you really want that ADC alive on the defense. Speaking of, Didacted blinks on him. Good job from Vent getting them off, and big emoji walls.
Midman got very low and had to get out of there quick. Thanatos into the sky. Who's he going for? Gonna land on Sehost, but Sehost had the Aegis up. Survives all the damage. Scizzy gets the kill on Wecci, and Life of the Afterparty had a 5v4, and they're falling apart with the Fire Giant. They've got to get out of dodge before it's too late. Dark Omen, on the heels of the Phoenix kill from Vent, managed to chase out Life of the Afterparty.
Yeah, and I think now Dark Omen look like they're in a really good spot.
Oh, Midman's ulting. Midman's ulting in the back. Can he pick anything up from it? Didacted got blown up in that amount of time. Midman's on to Scizzy. Skizzy's falling low quick. Skizzy's got nowhere to go. Over on the side, Henergy had nowhere to go. Midman gets Scizzy. Henergy falls. Vent turns around, trying to survive on Lone Wolf. There's the Aegis. Here comes the crit. How much damage can you take, Lone Wolf? Let's test it out. Didacted's here. Midman's here. Vent can't take them all on. But here comes Power to clean house. But he gets erased by Didacted. And now it's just Taka left to defend for Dark Omen. That fight took 3 different turns.
Yeah, and I think Life of the After Party rather being really smart here, rushing straight to that left Phoenix. Smart to keep it down and extending those fire minions. They do have fire minions pushing against their left lane.
The execute your shield doesn't mean a thing. Taka gonna go around and try to save this Phoenix. This could be a beautiful play by Taka if he can pull it off, but he's falling quickly. And here comes Henergy. He was trying to block the basics from Sehost, but that's Henergy's job. He's here now to do it. Wecci stepping up. Nobody's blocking it. Phoenix is just barely alive. Here comes the ultimate from Sehost. The Phoenix is still standing. Wecci's trying to step in to blow it up. Scizzy's taking a lot of damage, has to get out of there. Teleport's coming into the Phoenix. Fields of love out into Henergy. Taka dives in. Didacted blinks in the back. Didacted's got a kill on the Henergy. The Phoenix is still standing. It finally falls. Over in the back. Powers dove in. He's got a good bit of damage on Wecci, but he's alive. Taka gets the kill. Taka's chasing down Didacted now. Taka's gonna find it. Oh, Scizzy gets the double, but Taka just saved Dark Omen, and now it's Dark Omen's game to lose. What a play by Taka!
Yeah, and until Life of the After Party lost 3 members, I was gonna say that's a really, really smart fight, because Dark Omen now have those fire minions pushing, but credit to Life of the After Party, at least they do take down the Phoenix, so they're Titan under a little less threat. Oh my gosh, what is this? They are going for an end call. This is gutsy.
This is crazy, but it just might work. Midman's in, but Vent's taking a lot of damage. They need Vent alive. Power got the kill on Midman, though. That might be enough. It's just Lone Wolf. Nobody else is alive. Vent pushes Lone Wolf away. They're on the Titan. It's falling fast. Lone Wolf can't kill them with the get damage. There's the execute. It's going to be enough. It's a deicide. It's a victory for Dark Omen. Taka put them all on his back and gets them the W!
And I see why you were hyped about the Thanatos, you know, looking back on it. That was incredible play in the late game by Taka. And what a turnaround from Dark Omen. They were behind that entire game. They were behind when they won. That is really, really great shot calling by them. I think Power, if indeed their captain is their shot caller, incredible job. Vent did have the damage. We finally get to see it. And that was twice Lone Wolf went up against the ADC, couldn't do anything, and a great finish by Dark Omen after a really rocky start.
Lone Wolf did everything she could to defend that Titan, but ultimately just did not have enough damage to stop everybody, and the execute being percentage of health was the final straw that broke the camel's back that got the W for Dark Omen. And just like that, it's a 1-to-1 set. It's a whole new series. We got one more game to go, and what a crazy turn of events. I can't wait for the next one. We'll see you in game. It's time for game 3. Taka was the unlikely hero last time, but we're not done yet. I'm Anthony, and I've got KingFsher with me.
Yeah, and it should be a really interesting game 3. And I think even though Life of the After Party lost that last match, I don't want to see much variation from their picks and bans. They were ahead most of the time in map 1, and they were ahead in map 2 until the last, what, minute and a half, minute 20? So I think from them, a very similar style draft and a really similar gameplay, too, will really benefit them. Maybe just a little bit cleaner play calls near the latter half.
I think everything was going Life of the Afterparty's way until Taka, the god of death, started getting kills. That was the turning point of the game, and as soon as that happened, basically at the Phoenix defense, Taka just was able to put everybody in the backpack and run it down for the victory.
Yeah, and I think likely if you're on that Dark Omen team, there are some things you want to carry over from that game. I think no matter how it kind of happens, any loss tends to deflate people a little bit. They're on the back foot, and after such a thing like that, they might be expecting Life of the After Party to really shift some things up. And I think by creating a little bit of unrest in the picks and bans, it's a perfect spot to do that. Is they're gonna start off with a Dodgy and a Cupid ban, and I think two really smart bans. Those are two gods that have done well this set.
I agree. I like taking Daji away from Midman. That has been something that was effective in game one. We talked about its potential in game two, and that we were glad that Dark Omen was able to avoid it. Uh, Midman got his Horus, which has kind of been, as we know, like a big thing in the community, but it was actually a little surprisingly not there last time. So I'm looking for Midman to show up because it kind of seems like, as although everybody on Life of the Afterparty is very talented. I can think of something for each player. Midman is kind of the thing that holds all the pieces in place. So looking for him to have a bounce back performance.
Yeah, junglers definitely can be the glue of the team, and one pick we might be seeing going over to the jungle, it's going to be the Guan Yu lock-in. In week 1, we saw this prioritized a lot, both in picks and bans. I think another one of those picks that can really fluctuate its roles. It's played in solo all the time, and I've seen success in jungle and support. But if you had to guess, do you think that's probably going to be a solo Guan Yu, or is there a chance we see Midman pick up?
It's tough for me because I could see it going a lot of ways. I don't think it's support because we've seen Lone Wolf play two traditional supports and play them well, and I think changing things up there is unnecessary. We have in the past seen Didacted on that Guan Yu, and if I remember correctly, it was one of Didacted's better games. So I'm kind of interested in seeing it go solo, and I love Midman on a traditional, dangerous, and impactful assassin.
Yeah, definitely. The horse maybe not the cleanest, but like you said, that dodgy impact game 1 was monumental and still did pretty good on the horse, all things considered. But I think given the picks that Power in particular has been pulling out, something like the more traditional assassin might be a better, just not necessarily mirror matchup, but kind of matching the tempo. And speak about tempo, Ho Yi Ganesh, that is a really, really powerful duo lane.
It is. I love some Ho Yi. The Reigning Suns has been such a great ultimate so far in the season, but the Nasia and response gets me excited. I really hope that's the jungle because that could be a pretty controlling pick for Midman, assuming that's going to the jungle.
Yeah, and I think I would like to see that in a jungle. I think like Guan Yu, another pick that has been played in all three of those roles. I think in the SCC in particular, we've seen a lot of Neja solo. Ooh, and tell me what you think about this. It's the X-Ball pick again.
Ah, I it's tough for me. I have said it so many times. I just am not a big X Ball fan. The character is not that bad. It's something like that. I just don't like the character. I don't like playing it. I don't like casting the character. But Wecci did get bullied very badly last game from Vent, who had a lead. There's a lot to talk about with that lead that Vent had, but Wecci got pushed around. But in the first game on the X Ball, even though things didn't go the way of Dark Omen, Wecci was noticeably more comfortable, and the survivability was a big difference for Wecci, and he showed up at the end. We didn't see that same thing last game. Everything happened was on the backs of, pardon me, everything was on the backs of his team. So I'm excited to see him make a difference this time.
Yeah, I definitely think getting back to what's comfortable is almost always the right play. And I think even more than that, into the Hoyi, that CC immunity on his dash is going to be incredibly impactful, avoiding the arrow, getting stunned, and the Nine Suns
Mhm.
as well do an insane amount of damage in lane. And damage in lane, it's going to be the Vulcan taking out. I really like that ban. I think Sehost game 1 looked
Yeah,
absolutely incredible on that Vulcan. Definitely smart keeping him off his game.
It was, but we've seen with Sehost, it's really tough to ban out Sehost. I mean, it's good taking away that Vulcan, but there's so many things left open. Something that sticks out to me with Sehost in particular isn't even from the season and Life of the After Party, but it's the performance we saw in the Joust tournament on Tiamat that screams to me just skill overall. So it's tough to ban out. I do agree. I like the Vulcan pick, but I'm excited to see where Sehost goes instead.
Ooh, and it's gonna be a Baba Yaga pick again
Running
for
it back.
Scizzy. Yeah, I definitely like that. I think played a lot more maybe comfortable and maybe just better on that Baba Yaga in game 2. But enough
Ooh.
about the Baba Yaga. It's our favorite god. We got a Giannis lock in for Sehost.
Much like the Thanatos last game, I'm so excited to see a Giannis and mix it up a bit. There's so much to unpack with that. There's been changes to Giannis recently also, which could have impacted that decision.
Yeah, and I gotta say, as much as I do love that Giannis with its new buffs, I think gets 80% scaling now on the ult instead of 65. The Horus lock-in, I think, is going to mid-man, which I know we've both talked about maybe not wanting to see, but maybe switching up that mid laner and still having an assassin in that Neja makes it better, as who needs an assassin on the other team? It's gonna be an Ao Kuang jungle.
The Execute staying this time in a different form, and with that, we will see you in game for game number 3.
We're broken, it's tragic, we're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic, believe you could have it, and I know of sadness, the anxious and panic, the infinite vastness of all that is blackness.
Can Life of the After Party fix their mistakes from game 2? Or on the heels and the back of the performance from Taka, can Dark Omen run it home and take this set? I'm Anthony, he's KingFsher. It's game 3, let's do it.
Yeah, and it is going to be really interesting to see how Life of the After Party respond. Kind of a crushing defeat there in game 2, but probably nerves made of steel with this team. I wouldn't expect it to get after him. I think one thing we briefly mentioned there at the tail end of the desk was midman. Going back to this Horus, I know Horus, a comfort pick for midman, normally performs pretty well, but that's going to force Lone Wolf onto the Neja support. And tell me, walk me through your thoughts on how you like Neja in this particular role.
If it wasn't Lone Wolf, if she wasn't on that Neja, I'd have some concerns. But the way that she played the Athena in particular, not as much the Emoja, with the aggression and the positioning, I actually think this Neja could prove to be really valuable. And that aggression could really benefit her.
Yeah, it definitely could. Lone Wolf has been doing really good all game, getting really smart engages, and I think the target prio, more so than anything else, has really been showing through for this Life of the After Party team, always constantly getting really good first picks in fights. But now something we haven't seen a ton of. It's going to be a Giannis mid. I love this pick. I think it offers so much for utility and rotations. Going to have to see how they execute as Vent wants to get aggro and Wecci gets knocked up.
And on a topic of aggro in the solo lane, the junglers are there like we've seen, and there's some damage being dished out. But while Power and Taka have fallen quite low, Didacted might be too poked out for anything too crazy, and that will be the case. But it looks like the totem is going to go away like the After Party. Back to the duo lane, though. We have a Sash, and a nice ring bounce here could do some damage. There it is! There's the damage! Can Wecci get the kill, though? Here's the dash onto Henergy. The shell might have been enough. The dash onto Lone Wolf spells the end for Henergy. Sash onto Vent. We're not done yet. Oh, but the minions are doing work, and Vent takes advantage. First blood life at the after party, but the minions and Vent pick up the response kill.
Yeah, good job by Vent, making sure his support did not go down in vain. And I did like that aggression from Lone Wolf at first. I think maybe stepping a little bit too far trying to get that Hoyi. It shouldn't do too much harm though. Sehost looks at power, but unfortunately, Giannis, not enough cooldowns yet to kind of get that kill on line. And I think one god in particular I kind of want to look at through this early game when we're looking at builds is going to be this Mulan piloted by Taka, building into the Soul Eater first item, which everybody already knows my thoughts about that. But I think one more item I want to look at, I think solos have been picking up a lot more Contagion, a lot more Pestilence recently. I'll be interested to see if Mulan does that against this Guan Yu and Horus, because we've already seen how much the junglers love sitting in solo lane.
We did see a Contagion go onto the Osiris in response to the Thanatos, and we talked about how we wanted to see that used to get advantage. And while the advantage was there and it was effective, we do know how the game ended, but the Contagion proved to be a very useful item. I'm wondering if we're going to see more of the same. Lone Wolf peeking for a purple buff invade, but the ring bounce didn't do as much as Lone Wolf was hoping, but still there for the attempt to steal is not good, but now Vent's very low. Gonna have to jump over the wall. Wecci's waiting, but not close enough. So some good pressure comes out from duo lane, but no kill and no buff invade.
Yeah, I think I still like seeing that from Lone Wolf, though. Did manage to put both Dark Omen back the hard way. Gonna lose a lot of XP. Dives into Henergy. But the Elephant Man already pretty tanky. Only at level 3. So not much gonna come of it.
Yeah, Lone Wolf is playing this duo lane so good, so consistently. The damage coming forward is really impressive this time on the Nayshaw, which is exactly what you and I wanted to see. Taka, though, getting some really good damage onto Didacted. He's got to play this safe. Looks like Taka's not trying to force it more than he needs to. He does have the level advantage. Guan Yu doesn't have that ultimate yet, but Taka's not going to try for a kill, it seems. But yeah, dangerous there for Didacted. Needs to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, and I think smart from Taka not pursuing that one too far. No wards there on the right side for either team. But Midman just now gets spotted out in mid, so maybe the Mulan can afford to play a little bit more aggressive. Now Kwang has his execute. He's nearby. Just going for some buff invades. So his Dark Omen gets a little bit extended into that right side jungle. Maybe trying to kind of make up for Life of the Afterparty's prowess on that left side of the map.
I think so, and I think the Yao Kwang was peeking over just in case Taka got a good bit of damage on, again, onto Didacted. He could have looked for that execute, but I don't think there was enough by the time that power got there, thanks to Guan Yu's sustain, as well as going with the health chalice there. So overall, a good call, but I like the presence from Life of the Afterparty.
Yeah, definitely do. And that Alkwang does have Blink, so definitely can afford to get aggressive in one of these fights. And by being on mid, as we see a little bit of go in different directions, and now Lone Wolf has a level lead. Vent, though, looking for an aggressive kill, and Wecci's dropping low.
Wecci, though, remembers what happened last game with the on-hair. Here's the ricochet. It's gonna hit! Just reminding Wecci what Vent can do over there. Raining Suns to pressure him out and force him to back even further. Miss out on some XP. It's another story of Vent taking control of this duo lane, but in the first game, Wecci did great. And in the second game, Wecci was outstanding at, even though playing from behind, handling it perfectly and staying relevant in the game.
Yeah, definitely did, but I think on the flip side of that coin, this game, I want to see Vent branch out a little more. Had such a great impact on Dark Omen when he finally got out of lane, started doing a massive amount of damage. I think to Lone Wolf in particular, as I tried to stop him a few times. Big Mulano, I'm not going to connect though.
Didacted had the count on the Horsey, and the Horsey pulled through. Gonna get him out of there just in time. He's gonna hang out in lane, though, which might have been dangerous. The Giannis ultimate goes wide, but Midman's here for backup. Taka's gonna fall. Didacted gets to live another day. He better be thanking Midman for that.
Yeah, still no wards on that right side from Taka, but to be fair, I think Midman ulted from a position not normally covered. So good job by both the Giannis and the Horus trying to make sure they bail their teammate out, and it does work. Didacted now gets a level over that Mulan. That is huge as he finishes up that Breastplate of Valor. I think now we saw him dropping low in that fight really early and a couple repeated times, but hopefully that Breastplate, I think it's 65 protection, should really help against this Mulan, who does not have a lot of power online yet.
Yeah, I'd like going the Breastplate with the combination of keeping the Soul Leader behind, I think that makes you feel even tankier than you actually are, which ends up being a huge difference. We're not seeing as much action this game as we've seen from these two teams last time, but Vent hears me talking and disagrees. Raining Suns come down onto Wecci, but Midman once again shows up just in time. Last time he saved solo, this time he saves duo. There goes the kill for Life of the Afterparty. Over in the solo, though, Midman can't save him this time. Didacted's got to use the horse to get out of there, and quickly, probably going to cost him his blue buff.
Yeah, and get out he will, and unfortunately for Didacted, he cannot afford to step up with this. If he even tries it, Aoklong is going to take him to the sky and just chomp down. I think looking back at the duo lane, great job again, like you said, by Midman, spreading himself around the map perfectly to go save his ADC there, as Wecci does live another day. Now, again, Didacted, there it goes.
Later, Didacted! Shouldn't have stepped up that far.
Yeah, definitely not. Maybe thinking that the Aoklong decided to back, but unfortunately for Didacted, definitely not the case, as he'll have a few seconds to sit in base and think about what he's done.
Yeah, that was tough. I mean, like you said, you called it perfectly. The Aoklong was going to look for that execute onto Didacted, and Didacted, like you said, I don't know if he thought Aoklong disappeared or if he was just trying to get the wave farm and not lose it, but it's going to cost him his life. Not going to cost him too much in his lead so far, though, because the Soul Leader stacks still are not finished. So, overall, not the end of the world for Didacted in the solo lane.
Yeah, and Soul Leader stacks now take 100 instead of 75. I think it happened a while ago. I'm still not used to it, so I still gotta bring it up every time. Now Taka not gonna hit the stun, so Didacted won't take the poke this time. But seems to kind of just want to zone Mulan out of some of the XP. I think both of them pretty content not to box. Taurus goes to the skies.
Oh, that freeze might have just been a bait, and now Taka is caught out and not much mana. The ultimate on ultimate, Midman's on a killing spree. The Horus this time is showing up the way we all expected it to.
Yeah, and I think that is definitely the Midman we're used to seeing. 3-0 at 8 minutes, not too many surprises there. And really good CC chain from Life of the Afterparty. That Mulan, I think, walked maybe 2 steps after that Horus ulted, and that was about it. So really good coordination there from Life of the Afterparty, and I love seeing this early aggression. Really easy to get disappointed late.
I knew it! I saw Sehost setting up, and I sensed it in my bones! He gets the ultimate with the nice follow-up for the kill in the mid lane. Beautiful play. That's what I like to see from a Giannis. Oh, in the dual lane, though, Vent wants another solo onto Wecci, trying to repeat last game, but Wecci, once again, using the escape that X-Ball provides and gets out of there. Ricochet, there it is, no good. That's what I was waiting for, but that Ricochet might have put Vent in a bad spot. Lone Wolf's here, sash down, ultimate follows up. Wecci's in for the kill, looking for some vengeance. He's gonna get it! That must feel so good for Wecci! Over in the solo lane, though, we got a brawl at the blue buff, turning it red. Midman's gonna fall to Taka. That's a gigantic kill. Didacted finds himself alone with 3 members of Dark Omen. They're gonna chase him under tower. Is the execute good? No, it's not! Sehost is even better than the execute! Picks up the kill onto power, and he's chasing them away from Didacted. Didacted takes some good damage from the Ganesh, but Sehost might have just saved him, and now he's looking for the kill onto Taka. Taka sidestepped the portal, but now Didacted goes forward. Sehost is out of dodge. Didacted's gonna fall. Should have taken advantage of the time he had. Now it's Sehost who's in the 1v2, but he's got the portals to get out of there. And Lone Wolf's there with the sash to make it an even better escape.
Yeah, and good job on Lone Wolf. Does force a beads out of Scizzy. Not really sure the Baba Yaga needed to beads that, but better safe than sorry. Dark Omen finds a pretty decent turnaround kill there. And great job by Sehost stopping power. I thought that Aoklong had him to the skies, but definitely not. Is Life of the Afterparty definitely looking confident this game, and the rotations have been on point. Midman, Lone Wolf, and now even Sehost just flying around the map, keeping everybody safe.
Yeah, there was a lot to unpack. I think the kill from Wecci is huge, not dying to Vent and not letting that same lead happen. I think saving Didacted, even if Didacted kind of threw it away, is huge. And I think Sehost and showing that there's a presence on that Giannis is even more dangerous for Dark Omen, and they need to keep that in mind really for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that presence is definitely due to the ultimates on this team. Didn't have to use it. Vent jumps in again.
Vent, leave Wecci alone. Wecci's gonna get under tower. Raining Suns did come out. These two, there has to be a story. There has to be beef, but Vent might have gotten too aggressive. Oh, Wecci's not going to chase it yet. Here comes the chase, but that jump is going to be up. We'll see how Wecci tries to play this. Here's the jump, followed by the jump. Vent's away for now. Crazy duo lane over there. Those two do not like each other.
Yeah, and it's a little odd to me that we see Vent go back in time and time again, behind in the build, behind in levels, but behind in kill count. Dark Omen, power falls.
Another big kill for Sehost, and we've got a 3v3 in the right lane. Scizzy, house, dead, double kill for Sehost. Midman taking big damage from Taka, but Didacted ultimate is gonna help out with that. Henergy is now stuck in between 3 members of Life of the Afterparty. Horus ultimate to cut him off, and now Henergy is gonna have to fall. There's no way he gets out of this one. Now it's just Taka versus 4 members and a rampage from Sehost. Taka's falling fast, but Life of the Afterparty are gonna use this opportunity to get an objective.
Yeah, another great rotation from Life of the Afterparty. Unfortunately, it looks like that objective is just going to be Totem Aku, but I guess still technically an objective all the same. Good job on Taka making sure they stay alive, not falling down too much here. Maybe limits a little bit of what Life of the Afterparty can do with Giannis backing and X-Ball being across the map.
I think that was so well played by Life of the Afterparty. Their teamwork in this set, even in the game they lost, has been really impressive.
Yeah, and I love this build pickup now from X-Ball. Gets the tier 2 Odysseus bow, and Didacted might fall again. There's the execute.
Wait up! Part 2! Power gets another kill onto Didacted with the execute in the solo lane. And once again, we're brawling in the duo lane, but this time everybody's fairly healthy. We'll see how far they push it. Vent's gonna jump in, wanting more blood. Wecci not interested in throwing hands, maybe trying to buy some time. Here's the Giannis ultimate. Vent just used his jump. He's got to fall back and quick. Gonna be up soon, though, but Lone Wolf and Sehost are both here. The jump's out, maybe a little early. There's the damage from Giannis. There's the ultimate from Lone Wolf. He's gonna die when he lands. Goes instantly through the portal, and Wecci's on a killing spree despite all the pressure from Vent. Great job by Life of the Afterparty.
Yeah, and I think Vent still feels like last game with that on her aggression. It was incredible, but this time, I mean, 2 levels down an item, trying to push out this X-Ball, and it's just not going the way he wants. Can he get the Pyro Steal? Oh, no, they can't.
Dark Omen gets it, but it was so close. Life of the Afterparty couldn't have been set up any better. Midman's gonna fall for the attempt, but it was a great attempt.
Yeah, I don't think you can really fault Midman for going in for that one. And on the other side, Gold Fury falls. So Life of the Afterparty, Wecci now going to be able to follow up onto that tier 2 tower. Might not be able to kill it yet, but that's going to make it really hard for Vent. Vent, I think, maybe can't play as aggressive now that there's a real threat of that tower going down.
Wecci has responded so well to the pressure from Vent. I'm not sure if that was something that the team put together as a strategy, was to take advantage of how aggressive Vent plays, but whatever it might be is working so well. The Houyi is only down 1-3, but the feel of this game is completely different over from the carries.
Yeah, and I think the one good thing we can say about Vent's aggression for sure is it is taking a lot of focus off the right side of this map. We saw Dark Omen able to not really sneak the Pyro, but get it pretty safely. So this Houyi's aggression helping his team, although it is putting him further behind. A Sehost wants to get aggro. 2v3 though may not be the best spot to do it.
It's so easy to fall into that mindset as a Giannis, though, with the mobility and the escape potential you have, but Didacted might get caught out again. Is this going to be a part 3 to our tale in the solo lane? He's fallen quickly. The ultimate, though, is going to block the execute and give Didacted the escape he needs, and now Midman's here to clean things up, and he's got company. Sehost gets here just in time for the kill. Wecci soloed Vent! The revenge tour is completely on! In the solo lane, though, back to what's at hand. Henergy's fallen fast, but big damage onto Midman. Hung out in the pillars a bit too long. Sehost dealing damage on top of damage, and Dark Omen's got to fall back, but the chase might not be over yet, as Lone Wolf goes around the other side of the wall and catches Henergy. There's the portal. There's the shell, though. There's the blink from Midman. The frenzy gets popped. Midman gets a kill on a Henergy, but the tower and power are going to pick up the kill on the Midman, and Lone Wolf's got to get out of there, but might be tanky enough to survive it. But Sehost comes around the corner. We've been fighting long enough. Didacted's here too. If I'm Dark Omen, I'm giving this up and I'm getting out of there.
Yeah, I think both teams luckily can disengage at the right time, and Life of the Afterparty are feeling themselves. A solo kill for Wecci as Mulan dives deep.
Lone Wolf's falling so fast, but the sash bought some time, but not enough time as Power gets the kill onto Lone Wolf. Tough turn of events there for Life of the Afterparty, but great job by Dark Omen turning that fight back into their favor at the end.
Yeah, good discipline there from Taka, diving in, making sure to tank the right tower shots and set up Power, I think, to come in and help finish off that kill. So good job by Dark Omen, making sure they get a little bit back. And I just noticed that fight. We have got a Blink Giannis. I love that for Sehost, but I'm thinking late game might get kind of in trouble.
Yeah, Sehost is going to have perfect positioning and perfect usability of the portals this entire game for that Blink to be completely worth it. So keep your eyes on that going forward. But with the build he's gone too, he's going to have a lot of portals.
Yeah, and luckily, who needs an Aegis Amulet when you can kind of just walk through the wall and get away from the damage? So I don't think going to be missing that one too much. And yeah, all these Life of the Afterparty builds I really like. The Emperor's Armor from the Neja is something we've seen Lone Wolf go a few times. And the Fabless Hoops from the Guan Yu, I talk about it all the time. I love that item. I think it gives them a lot of sustainability with the Horus and Guan heals. I think just like we always see the Cupid, we're going to see more again. Vent gets taken to the skies.
Vent's taken to the sky is going to come down into a portal, much like we saw last time, but the Purification Beads will save him from that. Wecci got a solo kill in the duo lane onto Power, though, which is just more farm for that X-Ball, who's now level 19. Going to be our first at 20. Lone Wolf, though, still wants this fight. Gets a sash onto Henergy, buying time for Didacted to get there. Midman's here. Sehost around the side. And look at the bottom of the map. Here comes Wecci. They're grouping 5 in mid with the man advantage. They want this tier 1 tower. They're going to push that Trebuchet as far as they possibly can. Off on the side, though, Vent caught out Sehost, but Sehost has so much mobility, it doesn't even matter. Pillar's out, doing quite a bit of damage onto Midman. He's got to get out of there quick, but Sehost almost killed Vent. Here comes the Horus Ultimate to clean things up in the back. We'll see how good it is. Oh, the positioning from Dark Omen was too good. Midman couldn't find any of those kills. Sehost is trying to chase it down, but they're just too far out of range. Everybody's safe for now. Midman wants it, can't get it, and now he leaves himself open for Power, who's going to get right in there doing great damage, making Life of the Afterparty have to fall back. But Wecci's here. He's level 19. He wants to show Dark Omen what it feels like to let the ADC get fed. Sehost is here with him, but they're going to have to fall back as Power was just a little bit too quick for the chase. A weird fight, but I think Life of the Afterparty might have gotten away a bit too free there.
Yeah, it definitely did, and I think credit to Dark Omen, despite losing that tier 1, didn't lose any lives, positioned really well to deal with the Horus dive and the damage coming in from Sehost on the side. I think Life of the Afterparty carved themselves out a bigger lead here, up 5,000 gold. 20 minutes in, it's not as crazy as some leads we've seen.
No.
It's definitely still a big one. Looking at the builds, we are going to see a contagion from Dark Omen, but it's going to be on Henergy, not Taka.
Yeah, I think we both got a little bit duped by that one. But I do think that fight, like you said, Life of the Afterparty did great. But I think them surviving after the fight wasn't going their way, and Wecci showing up the way that he did and doing the damage he did was huge for Dark Omen. I mean, look at the damage he's doing to Vent in this duo lane. The last 3 games now, Vent has been attempting to bully Wecci. The probability of it happening has been so good. Oh, the Giannis ultimate clipped one of Oyi's. Oh no, Wecci gets soloed. He stepped over to follow up on the Giannis, and it wasn't good. Midman's trying to get the kill on the Vent, but Vent is level 18. Midman's got to play this perfect. He doesn't play it good enough. Vent gets the double kill, and right as he heard me talking smack, Vent is back.
Definitely showing why that aggression is warranted. Good plays from the Hoi is now big pyro fight. Life of the Afterparty are going to take it, but now they all need to get out alive in a 3v4.
Yeah, this is big if Life of the Afterparty can get away, because you lost the double kill in duo, but getting that pyro and getting away could be just the thing they need to turn around that L into a W. But Lone Wolf might have stepped a little bit too far forward, gets caught out by Henergy, but the nice portal helps to get Lone Wolf away. They're going to try to defend this tier 1. Might be worth considering giving up. We're going to see how they play it, though.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a toss-up. Luckily, though, for them, Dark Omen are going to head over to the Primal Fury instead, it looks like. I like the call, but I don't know... Okay, Hoyi's running back. I thought Hoyi was just going to back, but should have the DPS to get it done. Lone Wolf is going to step up. We'll see if the ring toss
Lone
can
Wolf's
steal
going to
it.
run into Vent. Let's see how this goes. Lone Wolf doesn't know Vent's right there, but sidesteps the Ricochet anyway. Primal Fury's low. There's the ring toss. Dark Omen secures it, but everybody's falling fast. Wecci's here and he's doing damage. Oh, the snipe from Sehost! We saw it coming, but they didn't. And now Vent's gonna fall. Also, Wecci gets the kill with the dot damage while Vent was in outer space. And now Wecci's gonna try to chase out Power. Predicting the movements pretty well. Power is gonna be caught up in a bad spot here, and he's got to chase coming from Sehost on the Giannis, Lone Wolf on the Neja, Wecci on the X-Ball, Blink for Blink. He's running the wrong way around, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. There's the portal. He's caught out. It's over. Power is gonna fall. Wait, maybe not. That heal was gigantic. Here comes the damage, though. The heal was great, but not quite enough. Power is gonna fall eventually.
And good job by Power extending his life. Luckily, gonna buy time for Dark Omen to get out of their base a little bit. And Life of the Afterparty, incredible follow-up that fight. I think Sehost in particular, really good job getting his team through those walls and to the low health bars. So Life of the Afterparty, despite losing the objective, still walk away in the lead. I think we're seeing that reflected in the builds. They are ahead, a full item in nearly every role.
There's so much to unpack this game, more than last game, but I have to say that this set has been such a showcase of the talent that these two teams carry in their ADC role. It's been kind of crazy.
It definitely has been, and I think Life of the Afterparty have done a really good job. This is the third straight game where they're ahead. I think the one thing that's kind of stepping them apart this time is the tempo. It's so much more fast-paced, and it's so much more confident from Life of the Afterparty, and I love it. But Dark Omen have been putting up really good defenses. They've been rotating when they needed to, and I think Dark Omen have really set themselves up going into this late game where it's definitely not out of the woods for them to come back and take this game 3.
Yeah, even with the gold difference, the experience difference, the vibe difference is basically non-existent. Dark Omen does not feel completely out of this game because every time something happens, they're able to get away with something. I don't think there's been one single fight where Dark Omen has taken a complete and utter loss, but this might be the first time as Taka might be caught out in the solo lane. I don't know if the rest of Dark Omen can get there fast enough, nor if they want to. Here comes the ultimate from Didacted. Taka's falling fast. Yeah, nobody's going to come over. Taka's going to fall. Big pickup, and now it's a 4v5.
Yeah, one of the few big misplays we've seen from one of the Dark Omen members. Normally wouldn't be a big deal, but his death is going to open up the Fire Giant, and the Mulan is top damage on her team by a long shot. Been really important initiating these fights. Now Didacted keeping it going despite the rest of the Afterparty looking for kills. Here comes Wecci though. This Fire Giant is going to fall fast if that's a call. Stepping up though, they want the kills.
It's a 3v4 at Fire Giant. Midman had the back to protect the Phoenix from the onslaught of Vent and his split pushing, but they dropped the fire. Kind of questionable because Dark Omen ended up backing off anyway. They're going to do the re-engage on the Fire Giant. Henergy's low, but here's the blink from Power trying to get that kill onto Wecci. He's going to find it. Big misplay there from Life of the Afterparty, dropping and re-picking up that Fire Giant. And now they've got to retreat because now the advantage is not in their hands anymore.
Yeah, it definitely isn't. And Mulan does have her teleport up, but no wards around, so maybe going to be a little bit slow getting back. Can they find a kill, though? Sehost not going to die. Oh, there he goes.
Oh, it was the alley-oop from Scizzy after the alley-oop from Power. He had a really great play to go through that sash. He's healing so much! I don't know if they're going to be able to kill him with that healing because Scizzy just got here with the house. Lone Wolf is trying to get away. Vent gets the kill on a mid-man at the Phoenix, and everything is going wrong for Life of the Afterparty at potentially the worst time possible.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I think not accounting for the lifesteal on Power, I think that's 42% if I can do my math right. Absolutely going nuts on that minion wave to get it up. Now Fire Giant gonna fall to Dark Omen on all 5 members. Nobody can test, and just like that, Dark Omen pulls back into the lead of this game as they're going to go up in gold. Yeah, about 500.
I don't see any anti-heal.
Oh, no. I mean, I do see a Divine Ruin in the Alquan and a Contagion, but, okay, they have
Then there's
the
a Brawlers. I didn't see the Brawlers. The Brawlers helps, but
that is not enough.
You got to stock up. After what you just saw Power do to you in the solo lane, if you're not stocking up on as much anti-heal as you can factually carry that high res allows, you're making a misplay because that healing was absolutely absurd. Stacking Fire Giant on top of that now, in Life of the Afterparty is gonna have a tall task just to kill Power.
Yeah, it's already hard to kill an Kwong. A lot of survivability built into his kit, even without that life steal. And I think from the anti-heal, I want to look towards Lone Wolf on this Neja and is going to be building into that contagion now. She's been hitting a lot of sashes on those weaker targets from Dark Omen. Doing a great job setting up her team, so I think she'll get the most value. So now Dark Omen heads to Gold Fury, and they should get it pretty easy here. I don't think Didacted's willing to step up.
Huge damage from the X-Ball and the Giannis. But after them, it's all Dark Omen on that scoreboard.
Yeah, it is. And I think looking at the differences, though, the difference between Giannis and Baba Yaga is pretty big. Taka, once more, making so much space for his team.
Taka used the blink to go onto Lone Wolf, but Lone Wolf is so tanky. Didn't even lose 25% health there. But now we're going to have a tier 2 siege. Let's see how that Emperor's Armor does against the Trebuchet and the Fire Giant and all 5 members. Lone Wolf is dropping fast. Here come the Suns, but Sehost gets a kill onto Scizzy in the back. Didacted's falling pretty fast too. Trebuchet is still slamming away too. Sehost with the blink for some damage, but that damage only finds Henergy. Midman's going in? No, he's not. Yes, he is. Oh, and everybody stepped back. But, oh, what a mistake that was! Because Leda Power gets the execute on the Lone Wolf. Taka gets the kill onto Wecci. I was hoping they were going to step out of the ultimate from Midman as he ended up baiting everybody into dying. And now we're going to have a 3v4. Midman goes in the back onto Vent, but Vent's going to survive for now. Didacted follows up. The Shell saved it, but Sehost gets the kill on the Vent. Gets the portal onto 3 members, but they don't take too much damage from it. Now it's a 4v3, and how the turntables in this mid lane fight.
Yeah, and they're about to turn again as Midman falls in the back, and Life of the Afterparty do not know when to walk away from this fight. I don't know why they keep going back, and they're going to lose another member. Didacted should fall to power here.
Some good healing from Didacted did help out there, but they're going to lose the tier 2. Sehost is trying to ult from the side, finds decent damage, but not really enough to make that play too worth it. Bit of a waste of the ultimate, but it'll be back up in no time for Sehost. But yeah, Life of the Afterparty with some questionable play calls there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I could appreciate going back in, but everybody on Dark Omen was full health. I don't know what they tried to accomplish there in a 3v4. I think Didacted and Lone Wolf definitely did not get the message as they were still back trying to clear that Trebuchet.
Not to mention the Fire Giant, too.
Yeah, I mean, everything just adding in against their favor. Maybe a small miscommunication from Life of the Afterparty.
Yeah.
Luckily, I don't think they lose too much. I mean, a tier 2 tower 30 minutes in is basically nothing, so, you know, nothing ventured, nothing lost.
For sure. I think the biggest miscommunication might have been the Midman ultimate. It actually confused me because I didn't understand why he was going in. So what I thought was going to happen was Life of the Afterparty is going to be like, all right, if you're going to commit to this, we're not going to come with you because it's not a good position to go to. And he was going to get left alone. Then he shows up with 2 members beside him. So it kind of threw me for a loop. And I think it might have actually thrown Life of the Afterparty for a loop because when they got in, they did not do any of the damage that they were expecting to do when they landed.
Yeah, and they played that initial fight off the tier 2 tower so beautifully. I think they probably just maybe got a little bit too excited, and it happens to all of us. I don't think we can really fault them for wanting to get a little bit more out of that play. And luckily, they will have all members alive for this Fire Giant fight, as Dark Omen are going to clear off the last tier 2 of the map. But all Phoenixes still stand, so Life of the Afterparty can afford to contest this, and Scizzy almost falls.
Sehost got out quick, but not before doing a lot of damage to Scizzy. Vent's pretty low too, so they've got to play this safe. They're going to fall back. Looks like Life of the Afterparty is considering a chase here, trying to set up for that Fire Giant, but Dark Omen's going to go ahead and back. -2 members. Henergy, though, took a little too long to back. Honestly, might have been able to commit to the back and go, but Life of the Afterparty is set up pretty for this Fire Giant.
Yeah, they definitely are, and I think at least the initial stages of the past few teamfights have definitely been going Afterparty's way. I think Dark Omen have done a great job finding some value on the back end. Ooh, as that fight starts, but nothing much gonna come of it. As I was saying though, I think Dark Omen have been doing a really good job getting out of fights with value, but on something like FG, there's gonna be almost zero value to get out with. Dark Omen really need to win the early portion of this fight if they want to stay aggressive.
I think Dark Omen is taking so much damage from Sehost, even when they're not team fighting, that they need to get rid of this Giannis as fast as they possibly can, and they need to find a way to do it. Ooh, very close. Yeah, Maybe we're going to see Power go around back. We saw him do that on the Pele, but Lone Wolf's already taking up Henergy. So Power's got to step on it, and quick, because Dark Omen is taking serious damage. He's here now, but he's right behind Sehost, who's dropping so fast. Wecci dies with him. Oh, that's the 2 carries gone for Life of the Afterparty. And Power took the long way, and it worked out perfectly. Lone Wolf's going to fall the vent. The execute goes up into the air without the kill. He's going to land down onto Midman and Didacted. It's a 5v2. Life of the Afterparty is hauling it out. And Dark Omen is right on their tails. What a beautiful play from Power sneaking behind them.
Yeah, I'm just not going to question anymore when Power does this stuff. He's stated me wrong about 4 times, I think, this set. And going on to the Titan, if Dark Omen can end here and cap off a beautiful play.
Here we go. It's the Titan Siege. We got a 5v2. The newest member isn't up anytime soon. It's a rampage for Power. He gets a kill in the midman. Up to just Didacted. Henergy's low. Horsey for the defense, but he's falling so low so fast. It's a deicide and a victory for Dark Omen once again, crawling from behind and picking up the victory. This time, it gets them the set.
And that is a really impressive set from Dark Omen, and I think great play calling. They did exactly what they needed to games 2 and 3 around those late game fights. As much as we question it during it happened, Power, the absolute mad lad, incredible timing both games, and incredible play calls as well to bring Dark Omen from, admittedly, a game they should have lost and a game they were behind in the entire time.
In game 2, Taka was the story. In game 3, the story was Power at the end getting behind and blowing up Sehost and Wecci and just getting rid of all the damage, really, from Life of the Afterparty. Beautiful plays throughout the game, though, from Life of the Afterparty. They did not go down without a fight. Lone Wolf, once again, great performance. Midman picked it up on the Horus, but kind of fell off towards the end. Didacted, with all the pressure in solo, still survived, but ultimately, this set does go the way of Dark Omen.
Yeah, and I think luckily for Life of the Afterparty, there's a lot of really good things they can take away from this set. There's a lot of stuff they did really well, and I think my eyes definitely go to the backline. Sehost and Wecci were really, really consistent through their games of getting damage, good positioning, and setting their team up for success. So I think going forward, this Life of the Afterparty team has a few things they can work on, but they can get it polished up and be a great team. But Dark Omen, I mean, wow, flawless execution those last few fights.
And Dark Omen does take this set, and with that, Fish and I are going to say our farewells. Make sure you follow Smite Draft League on everything, get subscribed to everything, start viewing everything, and get in the Discord and get in these games yourself. We'll see you next time in the Smite Draft League.